You have to unarm the next one too. Did you unarm the other one? Good. Stand off, take 10 paces when doing handoffs in the open, no bare faces, mere traces, rare places that know we're about a status. I mean status. What's the stasis? We out the stratus. Mr. Universe, code name Tony Atlas. I was gifted with this. Why you talking about practice? Really? You talking about practice? You a thespian, acting like an actress. You a lesbian, type back on the mattress. Christian, Protestant, Anglican, Baptist, Pentecostal, Lutheran, all Catholic. Ancients have returned, truth is in. Stop the slackers, they do anything and everything to get you off your axis. A time to move forward, a time to wait, a time to love, a time to hate, a time to hug, a time to refrain from embrace, a time to smile, time for seriousness on the face, a time to be on point, a time to make mistakes, a time to be small, a time to be great. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a Moor. Strong devour weak, rich prey on the poor. If you find it's cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a Moor. Strong devour weak, rich prey on the poor. If you find it's cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored. Time to preserve life, a time to kill, a time to act hype, a time to chill, a time to do what's right, Allah's will, a time to make lower self take you on some thrills, a time to reach heights, a time for depths, times when you speak, times quiet is kept, a time to stay awake, actually we never slept, time to get resuscitated, time for losing your breath, a time to pass, a time to resurrect, sun sets, then it rises. I know it sounds complex, still no surprises. Try grasp the concepts. Open your eyelids, change your literature to change your mind. That's what I did. You on the fence? Undecided? Take time, don't worry, she provided. It's delicate when ideologies colliding. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a Moor. Strong devour weak, rich prey on the poor. If you find it's cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored.
Stood in the face of damnation. Stood in the face of damnation.
I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
Allah damn, I must say her name in vain. Taught to love, hate to see only my people in pain. Minds walked and brain lost and watched. Sons of God still hang on trees, but black Jesus hung on a cross. Watching them stagger with anger through the thoughtless forest. Wearing black to bury, but called black is lawless. The only race human, we were the green and blue men. With more science, ancient solutions. Uplifting, falling, calling for the end of confusion. But damnation loves the hologram, show illusion. Trick and bamboozled as always and forever. Damnation needs to learn a new measure. Aggressor or intelligent tone beats them anytime, cousin. They expect the nigga antics, the yelling and cussing. Turban affairs turns heads and feds to dashboard computers. Sarge told them leave the Moors alone to crown prosecutors. Some listen, some turn to kill the who's not a more sharpshooter. Wards of the crown, civil litter. More tooth pocket looters. Lions conquer cause their pride and courage is neuter. In the face of damnation.
I'm not there, that's not true. Maybe that's here in the church. I'm sorry. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
It's crazy how the politics can't call it quits. Prepping excursions of perversion just to call they bids. Now this one for the snorting all the bait-based kids. They got a whole lot of wordplay to make you sick. Make you post it just to throw it in your face. Take six, it's all games cause these corporates trying to sell you tricks. And ain't no exclusive for the losing board. Tunnel vision, stardust, and it's a comet straight. Shoot a boy and make you would take it. You're feeding off the damnation just so you can hate her. She can never be the reason you betrayed her. Boy, tell her all the lies just to open up her thighs and try to break her instead of open up her eyes and try to wake her. Impossible gospel. Cause all you try to do is let this paper cater to her feelings and blind her like the savior. When you picture you a painter, but all the bets you're trying to wager is fee. I only give you what you can't have later.
It's going back, not forth. Living for the youth, measure up the truth. Back to this constitutional foe.
Put in the face of damnation.
That's not true. Raised us here in the church. I'm sorry. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
All aboard, all in. Hands up, all for one, one for all. Man up, damnation like to make excuses like their hands cuffed. Usually in the cookie jars where their hands stuck. Always pointing fingers on what we do. Why you mad at us? Lead them to the water, make them drink. Still mad as well. Took the pill, wasn't ready. What you think? Back on luck, resorting to your corporate ways. Think you made an honest buck. Look at all the things you say. Lets me know your life sucks. Regret choices every day. Why bother waking up? Damnation always sees the half empty of the cup. Higher self eventually fades to obscurity. Lower self raises up. Run into the church, worship him, but they praising us. Empty out your purse, sing a hymn. In God you trust. Blood of Christ wash away your sins. So what's the fuss when you can run to us? Why you acting sus? You were agent, I still ride the back of the bus. Blood hits the pavement, politician gets his cut. Mental enslavement, static connect, breaking up.
Put in the face of damnation.
That's not true. Raised us here in the church. I'm sorry. I used to be into the Islam. Hold on.
Yo, come a little closer, man. Let me tell you something. Come a little closer. Not so close, though, man. Stand back. Let me tell you this. Listen to it, okay? Come closer. They say what doesn't kill it would only make you stronger. But I'm still here a little bit longer. Oh yeah, I should have been a long goner. What goes around comes back around, just like it's karma. What you sow, you're gonna reap because you're the farmer. Nowadays you can't trust your own peeps because some of them ain't farmers. They will sit at the feet of the beast just to eat meat. Beefing I'm not into. This is what I'm into. Rhymes and instrumentals, fundamentals. Yeah, I put my pen to the pad and put my thoughts on the line. I knew for a long time you've been trying to stop my shine, but you can't because I'm having a great time in the medulla, which is in the mind. Another one bite the dust now. Don't cry. I did when my grandmama died, but now she's an ancestor. I be having bad dreams. The doctor said it's from the trauma. 500 years and we still dealing with the drama. Question mark, no period, it's all commas. Come a little closer, come on, yes. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something.
Moor is my status. I used to be black too until I study, found out it's not natural. Used to say a Rastafari to capture is now the inner. No need to burn them out, let them simmer. Douse them in gas, about to light a big blunt. Rappers faking more than women wearing wigs front. Used to be black power, found out there's no power there. Talk a lot of kill crack and shit, white man still standing there. Used to be comedic, left my mind like invalids. Dick Gregory taught me leave those dusty ass pyramids. George G.M. James taught me Moors were custodians. Drew Ali and Jesus taught me watch out for those holy men. Sacrificing animals, temples smell like butcher shops. Conscious niggas got the pork in the pressure cooker pot. Can't trust my people, they always in denial. Lie and say the Israelites, more names on their trial.
Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. They taught me we're Nigger. until we show them that we G.O.D. we gods, walking around the earth in the flesh. Yes. You gotta be your best at your best, whether right or wrong, up or down, left or right, side to side. No tattoos, man, no tight jeans, man. I never went to jail and don't wanna go there, man. I took a look at you and be like, yo, like, hot damn. What's up with the purse? And what's up with the skirt? And what's up with the makeup? And what's up with the lipstick? You wearing high heels? You not a man, man. You are a man's man. You from the Stone Age land. You like bam, 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 bam. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something. Come closer, let me tell you a little something. Come closer, let me tell you something.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Moors, Release Fall, Shalon Davis, salute, hot house, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority, why you so late? Majority rules, here comes the test. Fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a Moor, that is easy to digest. Competent, never tyrannous. That is my land, never faking. Secret traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland to Portmore, everybody needs more. If you please more, following the apostle, we should read more. I see the unseen more, we more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they wanna learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong.
Northgate, H2O flow, Sheik, Canaanland Moors, Release Fall, Shalon Davis, salute, hot house, check it. They say they wanna learn, they only debate, referencing the truth, trust me, they only sound the great. Study nationality before you question my estate. I'm not a minority, why you so late? Majority rules, here comes the test. Fact, that's my hand in the form of a V on the chest. That's a womb that is blessed like a moon and a crest. Major forever, infinite mindset. Major from birth, that's a seed in process. I'm a Moor, that is easy to digest. Competent, never tyrannous. That is my land, never faking. Secret traditions, petitions for what you're not Jamaican. Westmoreland to Portmore, everybody needs more. If you please more, following the apostle, we should read more. I see the unseen more, we more. That's a fact. Canaanland.
They say they wanna learn, complain classes are too long. Don't want it on a phone call, energy too strong. Get it from the wrong source, now they way off course. Think they must be Muslim and give up on all sports. Should give up the red meat, must give up on all porks. Won't be yelling haram when the bottles are uncorked. Eating with the spoon, use forks for tuning. eating humble pie, no ego ballooning. Samson 2 caterpillars, got him cocooning as the full moon hung spiral energy moving up through the crown chakra, energy shooting, and told me upload classes before live YouTubing. 16,000 subscribers, 20% consuming, 80% troll pretending to be tuned in. Comment on every video, pushing the thumbs down. We'll push the link when we live just like a clown. Pouring in the incompetence, always debating. Dissing Drew Ali, but won't give their location. His image on the black banner, that's placation. Just get him out of here, Yusuf yells in frustration. We know they're playing games, we're not berating. Calling 911, scimitars penetrating. In defense of prophets and mothers abused. And newly awakened Moors, amused and confused.
Enjoying the car is an understatement. I've already done 8,000 kilometers on it. My name is Rupinder Singh Mahant.
Now, you've had a lot of experiences and you've shared just a little bit of that with us. But now you've started a foundation called Eracism. What motivated it and what is it?
Well, it's a kind of word speaks for itself. I didn't start the word. It came out of an organization in New Orleans. It had to do with the Indians and the Cajuns, and they had this little self-contained racism.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
It Absolutely.
And then fade out, fade in, I'm driving around USC, and there's a young man selling these racism T-shirts.
Yeah.
And I said, I made a U-turn, and then I said, that's still a great idea. So in getting into it some 7 years ago, I started to sell the T-shirts and talk about the philosophy. And God has a sense of humor. You want to do this, you got to drop everything and do it. So when I first started, it was very unpopular. And I did not work in our industry because I was stepping on toes. It was very unpopular. And I did not work in our industry because I was stepping on toes. So when I first started, it was very unpopular. And I did not work in our industry because I was stepping on toes. So when I first started, it was very unpopular. And I did not work in our industry because I was stepping on toes.
Surely.
But it means what it means. We cannot survive without one another in this country, indeed this planet. We need to not ask permission for us to be equal. We have to be equal.
Yes.
We have to have compassion for one another.
Yes.
We have to put our best side forward for the salvation of the country, indeed the salvation of the planet. So if we have to save this planet, and the weather is giving us God's instructions on paying attention, we need to replenish the rainforests and then clean up the air and restock the oceans. Not the word. It came out of an organization in New Orleans, and it had to do with the Indians and the Cajuns, and they had this little self-contained racism.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
It does.
And then fade out, fade in, I'm driving around USC, and there's a young man selling these racism T-shirts.
Yeah.
And I said, I made a U-turn, and then I said, that's still a great idea. So in getting into it some 7 years ago, I started to sell the T-shirts and talk about the philosophy. And God has a sense of humor. You want to do this, you got to drop everything and do it. So when I first started, it was very unpopular. And I did not work in our industry because I was stepping on toes.
Surely.
But it means what it means. We cannot survive without one another in this country, indeed this planet. We need to not ask permission for us to be equal. We have to be equal.
Yes.
We have to have compassion for one another. We have to put our best side forward for the salvation of the country, indeed the salvation of the planet. So if we have to save this planet, and the weather is giving us God's instructions on paying attention, we need to replenish the rainforests and then clean up the air and restock the oceans. If we're dealing with anything else other than that and our children, we may as well be in a 747 airplane at 30,000 feet, and the whole plane is plummeting to the ground, but the people inside are fighting over who's going to be in first class. Air and restock the oceans. If we're dealing with anything else other than that and our children, we may as well be in a 747 airplane at 30,000 feet, and the whole plane is plummeting to the ground, but the people inside are fighting over who's going to be in first class.
Makes no sense.
That's what we're doing. If we're dealing with anything else other than that and our children, we may as well be in a 747 airplane at 30,000 feet, and the whole plane is plummeting to the ground, but but the people inside are fighting over who's going to be in first class. If we're dealing with anything else other than that and our children, we may as well be in the 747 airplane at 30,000 feet. The whole plane is plummeting to the ground, but the people inside are fighting over who's going to be in first class.
Makes no sense.
That's what we're doing.
That's a tremendous illustration.
You know? So now God is watching with his arms folded, I think, saying, I hope you get it in time.
Yeah.
Let's act before the fact. Let's have compassion for one another.
Yeah.
What does that look like, having compassion for one another?
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
Yeah.
I bring to you, where there's darkness, I bring you light. It's instructions, obviously. It's what you talk about.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
bring
is.
you, it's you first.
Yeah.
I bring to you, where there's darkness, I bring you light.
Compassion for one another.
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
Yeah.
One another.
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
One another.
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
Yeah.
I bring to you, where there's darkness, I bring you light.
One another.
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
Yeah.
I bring to you, where there's darkness, I bring you light. It's instructions, obviously. It's what you talk about.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it is.
bring.
One another.
Well, it's not us first. It's you first.
Yeah.
I bring to you, where there's darkness, I bring you light. It's instructions, obviously. It's what you talk about.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
bring you happiness instead of sadness.
Yes.
I don't bring any. I don't add any chaos to this planet.
Mhm.
And I have to ask God his advice on what I should do one day at a time toward the light, as they call it.
Yeah.
And that has to do with every belief system.
Yeah.
Is our end result, and it's never going to be over. Eternal peace between brothers and sisters. It's
Happy Holy Day, Moors. Happy Holy Day to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to the elder for putting it on the record. Putting it on the record. Everybody knows. Everybody studies their lessons. Everybody studies their lessons. Everybody studies their lessons. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and all the Moors. All the Moors. All the Moors who know the truth about their nationality and their birthrights, and know that we're Moors. Nothing to debate, nothing to dispute. We're Moors. It's that simple. And until we figure it out, it's like being in a 747 plummeting to earth, and these niggers and these Indians and blacks or whatever are fighting over first class. Because which one of them is the first people? So honors to you, all you Moors, who you found out about this and you are on this. No question. No question. All you Moors out there, all you Moors in the cracks and crevices that nobody knows about, all you Moors. All you Moors. You're the ones. You're the return of the ancient ones. All you Moors who just like the elder saying, you just want to be at peace with, just be at peace. I don't want issues. I don't want to be in court for what? To prove what to who? They went to court. Going out there doing madness and then getting caught up. You want to be living in peace. ultimately. And then if that's one of our principles, then what why is our energy all over the place? The stuff seems real simple. Declare your nationality, tie yourself back to your ancient foremothers and forefathers, and live like them in their mindset, where they're at peace. They're at such peace that they thought to somebody, and then somebody replied to them in thought. That's how at peace we were at one time. We were at peace. The honest to all you Moors. All you Moors out there who been reading your Quran and reading your 101s. Oh yeah, and teaching the children. Honors to all the Moorish schools out there. Honors to all the Moorish schools teaching the children so that they know about their nationality and birthrights. Whether their parents are on it or not, they're gonna know. You're gonna play them like us, and they don't know. Honors to all the Moorish schools teaching the children, the actual children, not the minorities' children, not the adults who should know better, not those schools. The Moorish schools for the children, the real children, not the fake children you got today. Grown people talking about they're black and all that. They don't know colors. You don't know colors? You're boasting about you got degrees on the wall and all that stuff. You're talking about black people? Don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. We're here. We're here. You gotta honor Simon. Huh? Jesus? Who's that? Who's that? I don't know. Jesus means justice. I don't know what you're talking about. This is all about Simon. This is all about Simon. That's what this is all about. Where was Simon going? This is where Simon was going. That's what he was finding out. Metaphysically, we do not view the crucifixion of Jesus as a tragedy, but as a step toward a great victory. And Jesus assured us that the same victory illustrated in his story can be attained by us. And then you see Simon fezzes up because he's the one. Jesus isn't the guy. He's Jesus. Simon's Jesus fezzes up, bearing the cross. During his crucifixion, justice gave 7 statements. These statements are contained in scattered form among all 4 Gospels. Gospel. In this course, we have listed these statements in the same order as used in writings of Charles Fillmore and also by Elizabeth Sand Turner in her book, Your Hope of Glory. Oh yeah, and this is from a spiritual interpretation of the Gospels, Unity School for Religious Studies. Unity School for Religious Studies. Each of the 7 statements made by Justice should be considered as a continuation of his teachings, and like all his teachings, especially appropriate for us today. They are a unique form of highly condensed metaphysical teachings, almost a kind of verbal shorthand. But for those with eyes to see, they can contain a significant spiritual meaning. The crucifixion itself symbolizes a process of crossing out or eliminating that which is no longer needful for our continued unfoldment. That's why he's bearing the cross feathers up, because he's not Negro, he's not black, he's not Indian, he's not colored, he's not Freemason. He's crossing out the lower self. He's crossing out the brand names, the wardship, the feudal systems. He's eliminating that which is no longer needful for our continued unfoldment. What has fulfilled its purpose in us must be either lifted to a higher level of expression in consciousness or let go of completely. Justice's crucifixion illustrates both these meanings. The cross, metaphysical meaning, represents the state of consciousness termed mortal mind. This is the carnal mind, and it burdens the body with its various erroneous beliefs. The center of action of this carnal mind is in the brain, and it is here that it is to be met in the final overcoming that the I Am undertakes. The place called the place of the skull, John 19:17. The cross is not a burden as commonly understood, but a symbol of forces in man adjusted in their right relation. And the forces in man, and the cross is man with his hands extended, just like certain people were on the cross, making the sign of a cross. You don't, and then that's the double cross that the certain people use. We're the masters. We're the masters. They're not the masters. We're the masters. They're not the Christ. We're the Christ. Now, if he's feathers up, holding it, then all the carnal mind and all the carnal stuff has to do with all the brands and all the other stuff that he's getting rid of. It's like the scapegoat. Put all your sins on the goat and throw it over a cliff, and that way we get away with the sins. Children still getting raped and all this. Talking about you did something. Playing games. Playing games. And it's not like they don't all know that Simon was North African. Isn't that where they say the Moors are from? The Moors are from North Africa. No, well, a Moor carried the cross for Jesus. Remember, Jesus is fictional. There ain't nobody named that. So they can make him a new European. Because I already know that's some BS. The real Christ is Simon. And remember, that is you. Not some other guy, some stuff he can attain and you can't attain it because of some BS. Right? So Simon's not some black guy and African and all that stuff. Simon the Moor. Everybody knows. Therefore, this is AI. Therefore, while black people may have varying shades of brown skin, there is not truly black in the literal sense, but are identified as such with specific social and historical frameworks. The three authoritative sources used: Pew Research Center conducted an in-depth survey analyzing views on Black identity among Black Americans in the United States. This source provided insight in how Black individuals perceive their own identity and the importance they place on being Black. And then either way you look at it, once you came in Black, you're giving somebody else all your energy. It's that easy. Once you claim Black, somebody else getting energy. They want to hear from you. They don't even utter a word because the argument's mute. This property can't talk. Fridge, chair, table, those don't talk. They don't have rights. 2, historical context. Information on the historical construction of race and racial classifications was drawn upon to explain how societal factors have influenced the categorization of individuals as Black. This context helps clarify that being Black is not solely defined by skin color. Right? Because societal factors being Black is societal. That's not a nation. Right? They have to see the historical construction of race and racial classifications. There's no, didn't you just hear the elder tell you, racism? So we're not even dealing with race and all that. Race is off the table. As soon as it's put on the table, yeah, this is a fraud. What we've been having this conversation for. It's a fraud. Anthropological Perspectives 3. Insights from contemporary anthropological perspectives were utilized to explain how race is a socially constructed concept and how different societies apply criteria for classifying individuals as Black. This perspective helped emphasize that being Black goes beyond physical appearance. So there were some Ethiopians, the spot where I used to work at. And somebody was playing whatever music, and they're dancing or whatever. And she says to me, "This is your music." It was like some BS or whatever. No, that's not my music. I'm not Black. She's like, "What? You're not Black?" I'm like, "Are you Black?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "I look like you, so I'm not Black either." Crack out, break out laughing. Going about my business, and they kept on dancing. How come there was no debate from her? No, you're Black, you're Black. You have to say you're Black. No, because everybody knows that's not real. Everybody knows that's a fiction. As soon as you go there, you're not counted for anything or anything you say. And in order to accommodate you, right, the Black guy, so you have your award shows, you have your Black this and your Black that and your Black whatever. Because of that, now boys could say that they're girls and win 55 volleyball championships in a row. Just because these fake people over here calling themselves Black when they're actually brown and all that, when they actually have a nationality, but they don't want to claim that. They want to play color games. Them doing that is why you're seeing right now boys, men saying they're girls and women and going into female sports and winning everything, breaking records and all this stuff. Records are counting as being broken. Because being Black and all that stuff was the first fake identity. Being Negro, being colored, that was the first being fake. People being artificial. That's the foundation of the artificial person. These individuals who are human beings, but they're not classified as human beings. They're in some other thing with beasts of the field and all that. So if AI knows and you don't know, then you have issues. According to I Ask AI questions search engine, yes, the term Indian was substituted for Moorish. Top 3 authoritative sources used in answering this question: Albert Samuel Gatschet, 1888, Charles de Wolfe Brownell, 1864, James Kennedy, 1855. The sources used in answering this question are historical texts and scholarly works that provide insights into early theories and beliefs about the origins of America's indigenous populations, including discussion on terms like Moorish and Indian. These sources, after valuable historical perspectives on the subject, matter and help shed light on the evolution of ideas regarding the ancestry of native peoples in America. AI. Bloop. AI. If AI could get this, AI just came yesterday. If AI could get this, how is it our people are still talking crazy? How is it? How is it our people still talking crazy? Oh yeah, it's for all the black whoever. This is a good one.
Right now, I got something for y'all. Black is an adjective. It's a destructive, dehumanizing, denationalization term. Are you gonna fast off using that term? Are you gonna fast off using that? You fasting off eating, having sex from dawn to the evening? Are you gonna fast using black as an identity? Y'all talking about Ramadan out here. Are you gonna fast and do that? You gotta have discipline to fast. So how about fasting off dehumanization terms? Like Indian and black. You have the discipline to fast off that?
Then why do you use the word? Why call yourselves black? I mean, you people are more brown than black.
Why do you call yourselves white? You people are more pink than white.
All y'all out there doing Ramadan right now, I got something for y'all. Black is an adjective. It's a destructive, dehumanizing, denationalization term. Are you gonna fast off using that term?
Are you gonna fast from using that term? Ramadan is the 3 months in which the Holy Quran was being done during the month. We ain't talking about all that. Not talking about all that. Nobody's not saying don't do your Ramadan and don't fast. Moors are saying, are you gonna fast from using these denationalizing terms? If you are not gonna fast from using these terms, but you're gonna fast from all this other BS, you're playing games. That's all Moors are saying. Because we echo the sentiment. If you're really down with some Ramadan, then you should be fasting from using dehumanizing terms. It's only a month. Like, I mean, come on. You can't stop saying you're black for a month? Really? And you're going to get from sundown to sunup to say all the black all you want. You're still going to get to say it or whatever. So we'll see how many, we'll see how many are really on some Ramadan. You see how many are really on some Ramadan. We'll see. Oh yeah, keep in mind as well. Don't let them jack your stuff. Don't let them jack your stuff. Easter is Ishtar. Easter is literally Ishtar. So don't let them not let you go get your Tupperware and all that stuff because, they think you're following some Christian thing and you're a Moor. Why are you following this Christian thing? You better go get your Tupperware. Stop playing games. I know you're just going to freeze that for in the week when stuff starts getting tight. You could pull out the frozen stuff. Don't let them make you throw away your stuff. Don't let them make you cast your pearls to swine. Reclaim it all. It's all ours. Celebrate it. Do what you got to do. I don't care what that is. But it's all ours too. Don't think these late people who adopted your stuff and took your stuff that it's theirs. Nothing's theirs. Everything's for humanity to share. People want to be glutton. Don't fall for the gluttony.
So we're here with priest and officer at the Wagga Bar of the Israelite School of UPK. And I want to ask you, given your expertise in history, who are the Moors? So
you got the lead up music and all that stuff. You got the... Now, why these people asking some Hebrew Israelite who the Moors are? Why? There's Moors. Now you ask Moors who the Moors are. Of course, Hebrew's gonna lie, so we're just gonna put the button. Just push the button if you want to get on here and address these Israelite whoever's talking crazy. Because why are they asking some Israelite who the Moors are? Asking the Israelite who the Moors are? You know, this is why the stuff is messed up and all that. This is why. And it's not like, you know, the truth isn't out there. The truth is out there. There is no need for anybody to be swayed. There's no need for anybody to be swayed. Literally, information is at your fingertips. Exactly, because they're playing like they're not Moors. You know, everybody's pretending like they're not Moors. Like the Moor said in the chat, doing the third person, the Moors this and the Moors that. And then say that they're talking about the Moors. No, you're a Moor too. Like, what do you mean well, why are you saying it like that? When it's all the other stuff. When it's all the occult and all that stuff, it's we. And as soon as it's Moors, now it's third person. Islam Moors.
Islam, Granny. Brother Malik. Islam, Brother Bay.
Peace, Brother Bay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play this, and if you have any interjection, feel free to get in. Remember the lead up music.
An officer at the Wagga Bar of the Israelite School of UPK. And I want to ask you, given your expertise in history, who are the Moors?
So when you look at the Moors, you have to remember that the Moors were different peoples that came together and went into the interiors of Spain
through the Straits of Gibraltar. Now, the Straits of Gibraltar is the area where Morocco is separated by a strait of water from Spain. So you're talking about North Africa is separated from Spain, and the Moors went and invaded Spain under
Anybody have anything for the Moors invading Spain?
Yeah. According to the book I got, matter of fact, hold on right quick. I'm finna grab the book and then I'm gonna cut my camera on. I'm gonna read it and show the people live directly what they talking about.
Mm-hmm. Islam, brother B.
Islam, I'm just listening. Here to show my support. I know all
Islam.
the information. I already know all the information they're putting out is incorrect.
Yeah.
Hebrew Israelite. He claimed to be a Hebrew Israelite, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oxymoron. I'm just waiting for the information Brother Malik coming back with.
Peace, more.
Peace.
Islam, family.
Islam, more.
All right. So this book right here. This book is called Moorish Spain. All right, now I'm gonna read the back of the book. The author is Richard Fletcher. You can look that book up on Amazon. It's cheap. I paid probably $11 for it. But it says on the back, in the year 711, a small Berber army under Arab leadership crossed the Straits of Gibraltar from Morocco. Now, that part is very important because those who really study look up when Morocco over there was established. April 7th, 1956. So when they're talking about Morocco, they basically saying we came from over here and went to what they call Central America, because that's where the original Spain was, Central America. It wasn't even called Spain yet. It was Al-Andalus, which they covered those forts up. But continuing reading, it says from the Straits of Gibraltar from Morocco, and in the following year defeated a army of Spain, slaying its king within a just few years. The whole of the Iberian Peninsula was theirs in the course of Western civilization was transformed. So when they're talking about Western civilization, where's the Western Hemisphere? When you look up the etymology of Morocco, where is Morocco? The most extreme west. When you're talking about over there, that's the eastern part of the hemisphere. So how is Morocco in the eastern hemisphere when Morocco is the most extreme west or the furthest west? That's here. The Western Hemisphere is here. Western civilization is here in what they call America, which is Morocco. Simple. And I yield the floor.
Islam, more. Islam State of Mind. Islam American Scrolls.
Islam. Take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. It's elementary, man. It's elementary, but they still don't get it.
Islam American Scrolls, do you have anything to add in?
Islam, greetings to all.
Islam.
Islam, mother.
Yes, I just wanted to share Islam. I just wanted to share that greetings, Islam.
No doubt. I don't
There's
know
I think what's his name? The Henry Louis Gates. Yes, Henry Louis Gates has a series called Africa Great Civilizations. And when you choose the Empires of Gold, I think it's episode 3. One of the Berber tribes are called the Judara. Judara. So just wanted to add for people that continue to have confusion, this tribe was converted to Islam and maybe at some point even had converted back before. So we know that based off of the name of the tribe. So for the people that are lost in that type of sauce, I guess we can play the reading rainbow. So like if Henry Louis Gates and that type of time is showing Judara, it's very powerful.
Yeah, Khalifa, I think you're cutting in and out, I think, right now. And we're not hearing you right now.
Yeah. All right, I'll come back.
Yeah, try come back in, because I don't know if you're leaving gaps or if the thing was messing up because it was so smooth. So yeah, just get off and push the link again. Maybe send the link out again. Maybe it's something on the thing.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes.
All right, cool. So Islam, I just wanted to say that there's lots of things that are there with regards to whatever different groups of our people were into at a certain period of time. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily where we always were or where we will always going to be. So we know that you have a right to your own divine creed, and that is your personal business, but that can't be for everybody. I don't know of any other group of people where we require them to have one degree of their relationship with the Most High or not. I don't know how that's efficient for a nation to require everyone to have the same creed, as if that's manageable with us, whether we have knowledge of self or not. It just doesn't make sense as far as rulership. You would want your people to be able to have a choice, hopefully. And then secondly, think about how stubborn and hard-headed we are when we are not conscious. And imagine how righteous and dogmatic and annoying we can be when we are conscious. So it's like, it's almost like a twin type of analysis paralysis. So I just wanted to say that everybody has a right to divine creed, but as far as like people that have been on the planet since time immemorial, I think it's very basic and elementary to think that we were only one faith or only one creed, and that's the way we're supposed to be for millennia. It's just not practical. And even metaphysically speaking, it's not how the cycles go. So I just wanted to add that, Islam.
Islam was Islam.
Islam, or give thanks too, mother.
Anytime, Islam.
Hey, you notice something, Grand Sheik?
Oh shit, I was muted. My bad.
Can you hear
Islam.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Now I just wanted to add, it's funny how whenever they refer to Moors, it's either we were enslaved and shipped somewhere or we invaded somewhere. It's never we was already there, which, you know, the real history could prove that. It's just funny. It's either we were enslaved and migrated somewhere, shipped somewhere, or we invaded. But history proves, you know, both to be incorrect. But it's funny they always start at those two different points, you know?
Islam brethren, I just wanted to add on that. It's not by coincidence, because that's how they can assume that they have some relevance to our ancient culture. So to make us new and temporary, or I think something Cujo put up, this somebody was like, oh yeah, Moor is a Latin term for West or something absurd. So in order to make their politics or their agenda relevant, they have to make us temporary and nomadic. So even if we just agreed to say that that was true, so the issue should be, okay, let's just say that that's true. Black means pale or to make bleach. So what's the response now? So like, even if we say that that's the time, and the time that it was made, it was regarding death during the plague. That's how it's relevant. It meant death. Hence the Black Plague. So like when we have and that's even on the that's like a PBS, like that. These are things that are like easy to find answers to. So when they're trying to limit our time frame, when they're trying to say, oh, it only means this. Well, okay, well, we know black means pale, and it only came around in the 13 or 1400s. So like, what are you talking about? So like, it's like they have that oxymoron. I think somebody said that earlier today, like somebody has this ass backwards way to try to make it make sense. The math ain't mathin' type of thing. So it's like, well, okay, we'll say that Moor means Latin and it means West. Okay, it also means North, East, and South, because we're talking about the whole planet. So whether we're talking about Egypt, where we're talking about Hindustan, where we're talking about New Zealand, and even America, when you look it up in a collegiate dictionary, it talks about a mirror. So it's like there's everywhere that you go, and those of us that have been in this for a long time, that's all you see. There's nothing else that's going to, and they do call it like a confirmation bias. To be fair, you call it confirmation bias. So as you start to see everything relating to Moors, that's all you see, because that's what you find. And multiple sources throughout, you know, many types of academia. So in order for them to keep themselves relevant or to minimize our connection through different parts of time, different parts of the world that we at least have some evidence for, they have to minimize it. They have to downplay it, because then all of the time in their belief system, it's not relevant. And just like now with the icons, somebody had sent me something. I'm like, yeah, I bought that book like in 2014. It cost me like $300. The Russian icons book today, you find the cheapest one is like US. So for many people, they're just, and we talked about that before, when you're coming into it at your time, which is not a mistake, but it's very expensive now to come into consciousness. So I just wanted to add that, Islam.
Islam. What I see is the question was, who was the Moors? I see an individual that looks like me, that don't know the knowledge of self. He's speaking in third party. Question was, who are the Moors? And he started talking about, well, there's somebody that came from somewhere else not even including himself when he are the descendants of Moor. Moor mean anyone dark skin complexion. It's real simple. Anybody that have melanin in their skin is a Moor. That's not really complicated. And then on top of that, Moors are all over the planet. It's the people culture that operates the planet. He's talking in third party on a public platform, calling himself somebody that he's not. Just confusing innocent people who are really looking for some answers. Who thought he had the answer to it, but he don't.
Islam. And again, too many references that they can go to opposed to an Israelite or something. Peace, more.
Yeah, man. And that's the funny thing. When these people begin to speak, you can see their body language and just their mannerisms, and a more that studied in the
That too.
metaphysics and psychological warfare, could tell when somebody's trying to deceive others when they know better, but they still make the decision, the conscious decision, to deceive others versus somebody that just simply doesn't know. And a lot of these cats that get on these platforms, like Hebrew Israelites or whoever they may identify themselves as, or whatever group they feel like they belong to or been indoctrinated by, they always speak about the Moors, and just saying that shows you that they're trying to separate themselves from the truth, and I guess, whether it be they try to please their masters, whether it's deliberate or not, whoever taught them this doctrine, to separate themselves from their own bloodline, it's a sad thing to see, but still it's no excuse. Ignorance, is no excuse, because there's enough references and enough history that if you search the word Moor, Black or Moor, anything associated to Moor, you'll see the truth right there in front of you. But again, metaphysically speaking, a lot of people are disconnected from themselves, from the God self, the God within. So those same people refer to themselves as anything but a Moor because they were disconnected from, God within from the beginning. So they'll also reference, to God as something separate as themselves, So that just shows you, divinely, there's a disconnect, and once you're disconnected divinely, it's going to be quite tough to find your way back home or connect to what, the truth is. So you're going to have a problem and you're going to be divisive, and against the spirit of truth. So that's why a lot of times when they hear the Moors, it's like, it kind of stings them, because they know deep down inside what the truth is, but they've been so indoctrinated in what they learn. It could be one or two things. They've been indoctrinated so much in what they learn, and now their ego is holding up that falsehood, or they're deliberately teaching falsehoods because they're part of the agenda. I yield the floor.
Islam. Peace, brother Babe. Peace, brother Sheldon. Salam nu.
Salam nu.
Sheldon, Islam more.
Islam. That's why I jumped on, because I saw Khalifa. I said, yo, I don't even have to talk. As long as I'm on the same stage with Khalifa, I'm happy. So Islam to the Moors, Islam, Brother Bebe, Islam, Brother Malik.
Islam.
Islam, state of mind.
Islam.
Islam. My screen is so small. What's that? What's that last one there? Thank you. Eloi. Eloi? Is pronounce that correct? Islam, Eloi Bey. Yeah, so I'm just here.
Yes,
And, yeah, this Israelite thing has been going on for a while. I actually was thinking about this the other day. Is you know how they a lot of Hebrew Israelites talk about obviously the different tribes, the 12 different tribes and whatnot, and how in the Bible, you know, it talks about Israelites were enslaved and so on and so forth. So they obviously say that they're talking about them. But then my question was, was it the entire 12 tribes that were enslaved? This is one thing that just, you know, I've never really heard them speak about. I mean, I don't necessarily listen to them that often, so maybe they have spoken about it. But I'm just saying, it's one thing I haven't really heard is, are they saying all 12 tribes were enslaved in a sense and, you know, brought over on ships and all that stuff? If that's the case, then how come they say that if that's their story, because like I said, I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm just saying, if that is their story, how come then they then say that the so-called Native Americans are part of the tribe? They weren't brought anywhere on ships. Or am I missing something?
Exactly. You're not missing anything. I would myself not even listen to them, because they're not going to the source. They're not starting at the source of man. Life first began on this planet. They're starting in the middle. That's why their concepts are not correct. If you want to get a good concept or a good comprehension of who you are, start at the source. Don't start in the middle. They got the concept of that the source of life began in biblical times. That's not the beginning. It was life before the Bible. Those are just stories in the Bible talking about the people that existed. Their concepts are wrong to me. I had to, once I realized that I was not black, once I realized I was not Muslim, once I realized I was not any of the Nagids, I had to start doing research of who the Moors are and their origins to bring me to the, you know, the understanding or comprehension that I have today. The same way I started with the origin of all the Nagids. They're not doing that. They're not studying. They're just going by probably what someone told them. And it's like a fad. It sounds good. They think they're making correlations to themselves in the Bible and whatnot. But there's conflicting, because they can't be reading the Bible if they make a correlation to themselves in the Bible, because it said, woe to the man who calls himself a Jew. It can't be. And Hebrew is, you know, code word for Jew, but it's not really Hebrew, it's Hebrew, the ones who made the crossover. They're not starting from the beginning. They're not going to the source to get the correct understanding or comprehension of self. They're trying to fit in. That's the wrong position to be in. If you really want to know knowledge of self, Islam. I yield the floor.
Islam. Yeah, so
Islam.
that's just one question that I had. I don't know if any of y'all could answer it for me, and it's an honest question. It's not being facetious. Like, I just never.
Islam?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So I know that, and since I'm not accessible to my library, there's several books that a lot of the Europeans were writing during the 17th and 18th century, where they were saying that the people in the Americas were the lost tribes. So, and there's a couple of books that I can't even think of right now. I'm trying to go on my Amazon and see if I bought it. So the idea of the mythology to some of the lore. So for those people that are listening, and keep in mind that because for some of us on the line, we think that when we're saying European, we mean a pale-faced person. We're talking about the brutish Moors. We're talking about those that were in France. So we're still talking about Lord Baltimore. So these people are still connected. And so when you look at, for example, the Scottish that were displaced to the Atlantis Islands and also in places in the Carolinas, you had some of the French that were, these were the Huguenots that were expelled from Al-Andalus, and they were in France, and then I can't remember who it was, and then they got kicked out and they came to the Carolinas as well. So there's different parts of the time frame where these bloodlines. So the Scottish in particular, there is clear DNA evidence to this Hebraic bloodline. And so what they're doing is they're looking at that Y chromosome. So whether you're saying it's a mutilated X or if it's a Y, that's the chief bloodline. Same way with those in South Africa, and they're by the Limpopo River. There was a PBS documentary about the Lost Tribe of Israel, and this is a group in South Africa, near South Africa. So there's different pockets of places, in particular Scotland, in particular South Africa, where there is actual DNA evidence that there was Hebraic lines of people that were expelled, and it keeps going even to West Africa. You have groups of people that were kicked out. So through the different timelines, Sheldon, so whether we're even using chapter 47, where we have like this Phoenician time frame. So whatever we're doing, we're looking at different time periods. So we're looking at Africans and Native Americans that came before Columbus. So these groups of people come in different time periods, and we could see that based off of the evidence. So they're trying to use that, these new modern Hebrew Israelites, they're going off of the information because remember, they're very well studied. That's where I got a lot of my good sources from in the beginning.
Yeah,
they're just playing the game. That's where I got my religious icons from. I had never seen that before. And I got the source because of them. That's why I wanted to go to Russia, because I was like, well, damn, this is there. I got to go see it. So there's been a lot of, I'm going to say pseudo academics, but there was a lot of mythology about Phoenicians being in the Americas. And you already know that. So when they're using that, they're trying to bring those people in particular, like the so-called Hispanics, that group. Because again, So either they're coming from Eurasia, or they're a combination of the Moors that were already here, or they're part conquistador or amalgamated. You know what I'm saying? So when they're looking at it, they're not totally incorrect, but they're finessing it. Like, so you'll hear them say so-called black, so-called white. Sometimes you'll hear the Nation of Islam say so-called black, so-called white. And then they start to, it's like the critical race theory. Like, you'll say that the racial categories are social constructs, but you'll use them as if they're real. So they're just, it's like the omission. I'm not lying, I'm just not telling you everything. So when they're saying those 12 tribes, or even like where I have some people at in the Indiana, Illinois modern sense of it, the Ben Ishmael tribe. So you had people that actually culturally that were here, that again, similar to Virginia, where they were trying to reclassify them. Or even if you're talking about like the Rhode Island place with the Moor on the so-called license. So you're going to be reclassified to Negro. So it's like, when you're looking at it, if you go through it, you'll be able to say, okay, yeah. But then it's also just like, no foreigners on the rostrum. So we have people that have taken the name, just like today, people will say American, but you're not really, but you're taking on that, or the same way you're saying Jewish or Ashkenazim or Khazar, because even them, that's still not them. So like in that process, it's identity theft. So there's enough literature to say that if you really wanted to look at it, you could find something there. But no matter which way you tried to go, if people wanted to cut out certain things that they would say would be more mythology or pseudo, because when we were in Mexico, they told us that they didn't build the pyramids. And you can look at that and tell, because they're very old. Or even when we were in Honduras, they had just discovered one, huge. So like the people that come in, they're not the new ones. They're I guess they're amalgamated. They're a combination of, but you'll be able to see. So to answer your question, yes, they use it, because they would still have to go back to that map. I tried to find that map I posted, I don't know how many months ago, about the Moors quarters.
Right. Yeah.
So you have Mohammedan, you have Moors, you have Armenian. I can't remember the other. So 5 of them. There were 5 quarters on this map that was like, I think the map was drawn about 18 something.
And I find that interesting that they had the Mohammedan quarter and the Moors quarter.
Right. And so on some of the maps, you'll see Muslim.
Right.
So, that goes back to just the alphabet. The O is older than the U. And from Muhammad, like even when we start to break that down, like it's very, it's even almost like them trying to reinsert themselves with the history with regards to like the curse of the Hamites, and because you have dark skin or black skin, you're cursed, or your hair is, so like people are going back in and transliterating something and trying to find a way to like make it seem like somehow pink skin is something that's natural or ancient. It's not.
Right, but to your point, just to add to, or to continue the conversation in a sense, I think that if we look at Egypt, so-called Egypt or Hekupta being in the Americas first, and the Israelites escaping Egypt, you know what I mean, and coming out of Egypt, then it kind of makes sense that they'd be in the Americas. Right? But then once, and when I say that they'd be in the Americas, I'm talking about all the different, so-called tribes and all that. But I think once it's looked at as Egypt is at Al-Kebalan, then to me, that's when it gets a little bit convoluted.
Okay, so let me say this to you. So I can't think of the verse. In Genesis, it talks about, and somebody on here can help me. It talks about, that's where you hear the chosen, let me look it up, the chosen people scripture. And then later on, I think it's in Genesis, it talks about the slave boats or the slave ships. So because we disobeyed the commandments, the chosen people were put on. So whether we're talking about, even if we're saying over there, so whether that's Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar type over there, or even here, because the Mississippi and the Nile, you know what I'm saying? So like either way that we look at it, it still gives us, and I hate to use it because it's mythology, but it still makes sense because of the many times that you have these groups coming back and forth. So they're going somewhere.
So, but the thing is, but see, that's the part that, yeah, I mean, if you are saying with regards to the Phoenicians in Scotland, it's true, they'd have to take boats to get here as well.
You see, that's the point I was making right there. When he was trying to make his point, he immediately started with Spain and Morocco. That's not the source. And the straight in between the two. That's not giving a good explanation of who Moors are.
Yeah, and there was no Spain or Morocco at that time anyway. So I don't, that's why that's easy. That's a layup. So for that part of and that when the rocks will cry out, that's another source. So like if we're talking about looking at these maps, because again, on that documentary, the Henry Louis Gates, and I was surprised, I had downloaded it and I was like, well, let me watch it. So I'm thinking about showing a part of it to my students. And I was like, man, let me see what he got. He got all type of gems in there. So in Timbuktu, and we're familiar with Timbuktu, and we know this based on our studies, in order to get the classic information, it has to be transliterated from Arabic to Latin. In order for you to get anything from so-called Greece or Rome, it's in Arabic. So if the Pope has this and all these other museums have these ancient texts, why is it nobody can read them unless you have to go to Timbuktu, or you have to go to Fez or Marrakesh in order to get somebody to translate it into Latin in order for you to be able to access it. So that's why a lot of the parts of their story doesn't add up. How are you even getting Socrates? How are you getting any of these books unless there is a Moor that's transliterating it from Arabic to English? How come there aren't any of it in so-called Greek or Roman? How come they don't have those copies? So it's like, if you just even look at, we're looking at pieces and bits of information, it's still going to be the same people, because that's why when we're looking at our culture and the customs, like when I was talking about that Berber tribe, I was sitting there laughing, like, again, as Moors do, you're like, yo, the name of the tribe, the Berber tribe that he came to try to convert was called the Judawar tribe. I'm like, yo, the Judawar tribe? So, but that is, and even that story goes back again, you know, with the calendars, we can't really substantiate what that time frame was, but either way that we look at it, it's a lineage. Really the creed, because in any of the things, it's based off of the pedigree. It's the same people because it's the lineage that's the key thing. And we're getting lost in the details, and that's great. And that's why for most of us, it's not really a hard thing, because that's a part of some of the culture. Even if we look at how some of us were raised as children, a lot of those things match up to how most of us were raised. The importance of being clean, the importance of how you take care of yourself, the importance of how you, so those, like that, what is it? The Code of Hammurabi. Like that's It's still part of the culture. And that's the vicious aspect of it too. Like, if you lie, we're gonna cut your tongue out. If you steal, we're gonna cut your hand off. So I don't know. I was trying to find the scripture about the in Genesis, but I think that goes to the point, but somebody could find it. Basically it's a lineage. So are you of Sarah's lineage or are you of Hagar? So are you of a free woman or are you of a bond servant?
Let me do a search right now. If well, what I could do is I could type it into, I could do a search for it, and then I could also grab my Bible to see. But let me do a search for it first. See if I can.
Let me go to King James. They got the new King James. What the heck?
Yeah. So Bible verse about what, slave ships?
Yeah, it's I'm gonna have to, okay, King James version.
Let's see. Deuteronomy?
Okay, this so I know this one. I found this one because I remember this one. So this is Genesis 15:13. This is the King James version, and we know what's in English. Right. I don't have my Strong's Concordance, so please forgive. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety. Now, those of you that know about surety and bonds, that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. So this is that theory about being a nomad. And shall serve them, and they shall affect them 400 years. So that's when everybody kept talking about 400 years.
Yeah, and and you were there when I in the chat, right? Did you read when I on the thread on our icon thread when I posed that question? I said, you know, when my pops was younger, he heard about this 400 years. I was younger, I heard about this 400 years. When is it? And then now supposedly some guys posting something talking about the 400 years is supposed to end in 2019 or 2025, and how come this 400 years just keeps extending and extending and extending and extending? That's my question. But that's the
yeah. I mean, and again, we're looking at it from the times aspect of when we're looking at time being measured. So, and again, you know, for my physics people, time is relative. So, right. I know I have that one. Where's the and this is the Egypt part of it. Your descendants will be strangers dwelling as temporary residents in a land that is not theirs, Egypt. So that even still brings us back to here. So whoever is in charge. So it doesn't mean necessarily like that this was all considered. It just means that whoever was in charge, that was the jurisdiction. Like today we have the modern jurisdictions today. So, you know, we lost power, obviously, at different points in time. So that was it. And there will be slaves there and will be afflicted and oppressed for 400 years. So this is a new, it's the same scripture, but it's a newer.
Because I found this one here. It's 15:13-16, right? Genesis 15:13-16.
All right, I'm at 13. Let me go to 14 and 15.
Okay, because this is just, and it says here, like I should, you know, grab my Bible and see as well. But it's just online. It says God shows Abram that Israelites will be enslaved in Egypt for 400 years. Mm-hmm. Then they will return to the promised land. Abram is told he will live a good long life. So if they're supposed to be enslaved in Egypt for 400 years, then well, then that shows a whole bunch. That shows if they're using this as proof based on what's going on now, then technically that would make the Americas Egypt, right?
That's why I said no matter how you look at it, and that's why Genesis 16, I remember my Bible skills is coming back. That's where it's the Sarah and the Hagar. So Sarah she didn't have any children, but she had a handmaiden. So like this is talking about the blood, and that's why when that book, which will come to me in a second, it talks about the amalgamated people here at North America that were the descendants of Hagar. Mm. And so go ahead.
But wait a second. The descendants of Hagar. But
so go to Genesis 16. Go ahead, because she was considered an Egyptian.
Hold on a second. Yeah, wait a second. Wait. Hold on a second. Let me go get because this is the way this is written is kind of confusing. So let me go get the book. 1 second.
Okay.
About to get slam dunked now.
And here it is. This is Genesis 16:3. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So this goes to Canaan land and the Canaanite. Right. So that's why I'm like, no matter how we want to look at it, it's still gonna bring us back to this group of people and the pedigree and the bloodline of this group of people. And when they went into Hagar and she conceived, okay, where it is. That's the.
I could pull up this King. Like I actually downloaded a PDF of the King James version as well, with the Apocrypha and all that in it. But anyway, Genesis chapter 16. Let's see if I can read this now. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children. And
right. So keep reading, and it's going to tell you that he got the maid pregnant, and you're going to see and it's going to talk about because I think that's 35. Keep going. I want you to read it because I'm going to try to find it because it's going to talk about the two bloodlines.
This is the red letter version. This is not King James. If you want me to pull up King James, I could pull it up.
Well, it's still going to give you the same gist of.
Okay. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had see the way they write this. I gotta switch my brain to reading this. You know what I mean? And she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, to Egypt, to the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelled 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
She was mad.
She was pissed, man. Like, what are you doing?
So, and just to make this a bridge, this is the key thing about being cast out, and we could make so many different connections. So, I forgot how many years later, Sarah finally conceives, and then depending upon whether it's New Testament or not, it'll say, King James, it'll say she conceived Isaac, and then God established the covenant. So that's the contract. And then something about the nation. And as she conceived Isaac, Ishmael and Hagar, they were cast out. They were cast out. So that's the part of it. So Sarah, how many years later she conceives Isaac? And then when that happens, Ishmael and Hagar are banished from the house. He's not the heir because he's the bastard. He's the son of the son of the maid.
Right.
And just like we think about, if we're looking at it from a lot of the so-called amalgamated people today, they are the children of the harem. They're the children of they can't inherit, and so they decided we're going to take over, we're going to overthrow, we're going to find a way to get our revenge. So that's a part of the process is, yeah, you're spreading your seed, but you're also displacing people because now we don't need you anymore because you're not official.
Yeah, I remember Asir talking about that in the classes, that all most of the discord that happened. You talk about Isabella and whatnot. I said they were all amalgamated, all of them.
Right.
And if you think about it,
so like,
I think I've discussed this before. If you just conceptually thinking about the harems with like thousands upon thousands. I mean, you read it in Christian Slaves, Muslim Masters, where sultans would have harems of 35,000 European women and all that. And if they all despise the sultan and they get pregnant with that son, all that hatred is going into that son or that child. And when that child is born, he's going to destroy the empire from within. Right? So yes, it's interesting. This part of the Bible, it says Sarah's jealousy, and then after that, it's Sarah is reproved.
Partner interjection. Can you read the part about Canaanland again, please?
You want him to read it?
Well, it says here.
It's 16:3.
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, and Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelled 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. So it's interesting here, to be his wife, aka to have children with her. So if you have children with somebody, that's your wife, according to.
Now, but see, that's why you know that the scripture is complicated, right? So when you're talking about these 12 tribes now, so the offspring of Ishmael and Hagar, they're considered the Arabs, the amalgamated Arabs, and the offspring of Isaac are considered the Hebrews.
Right, because that's what because when you said Hagar, I'm just like, but wait a second, Hagar is supposed to be it's supposed to be Arabia. You know? So
and it's still, and I think there's layers to it. Like, we would have to really be adepts in looking at the Aramaic and like the different languages of whatever that was metaphysically to break down like what that meant. But for the modern sense of it, it still takes us back to this same pedigree or this same bloodline, because you're still going to be the originals of everything because we were the original people of the planet. So it's like, how are you going to still not be a part of what you are the original of? Now, some of us could be hybrids. I don't know. But everybody isn't, part of that same bloodline.
Right. What's interesting about this is they always say that they're Hebrew Israelites always say that they're the seed of the father.
And that's another flaw in there.
So
that's just another flaw,
right?
In the position.
Islam Moors.
So they're not this. So yeah. So I mean, if
which goes the story, right? So the story,
right?
Based off of what we just read in Genesis 16:3. Mm-hmm. It's based off of the mother, and even the tribes. When you travel there, people, I know we only have one traveling Moor, but those of us other Moors that travel, it's still a matrilineal society. You're choosing the son to rule, right. Whether it's a council of mothers or whether it's based on a tribe. So she's still choosing who, or the council is choosing who's going to, just like even here with the firekeeper and the council of the elders, the same thing with the Hadushani. So it's still the same cultural connections. And I saw a more wanted to say something. I yield.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at this.
Islam.
Islam Moors.
Yeah, peace, Mark.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something on to I'm pretty sure most of you guys in the chat watched this documentary some years ago called When the Moors Ruled in Europe with Bethany Hughes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and on that documentary, exactly at the 1 hour mark, you have a woman by the name of Luisa Isabel Alvarez. She was the Duchess of Medina Sidonia, right? And she basically went into her family archives and she found out that her ancestors were Muslims. And she basically explained how at that time the whole Reconquista was about a political agenda, right?
Right.
Over land, over resources, basically power, like a power struggle. But they used the holy war as a smokescreen. So they created this narrative that there was a holy war between Christians and Muslims, which the Duchess of Medina, this woman named Luisa Isabel Alvarez, basically told, the host, Bethany Hughes, the historian that was basically the narrator of this documentary, the host of this documentary. She basically said that this thing was a whole made up construct, that Christians and Muslims lived amongst each other in peace in Spain. And so this whole, you know, conquest of Spain, like the Moors went into Spain and, conquered Spain and all this other nonsense was, total BS. It was always about a power struggle between, different factions, and some were of the Christian faith, some were of the Muslim faith. But the actual history shows that, this political propaganda of a holy war, between these two factions was the actual, was what it was about, when really it was a political battle. No different than what it is today. You have a power struggle between bloodline. So you have a lot of Moors today saying they're Hebrew Israelites, and you have a lot of other Moors saying they're, indigenous, they're saying they're African American, or whatever, identity they, choose to identify themselves as, rather than Moor, because that division started long time ago. So it's basically like a generational uh, confusion and power struggle within the bloodline. Because at the end of the day, we all family, and that's all Moors been trying to establish with other Moors who identify themselves as anything but Moors.
Right.
Because all they have to do is go back historically and see where the confusion started, and to see that it was all political. It was not, because back then there was no confusion. Before this political agenda took root, and then it basically started a plague. Like it started a plague on the Moorish Empire, and that's why all the infighting started. A lot of the bastard children, came for the throne and started fighting over what they thought was theirs because of their mother's, bloodline. And so it just started this whole big mess, you know? And since it started from our people, only our people could fix it. So that's why, Moors that are, enlightened and know the information are trying to dispel a lot of the myths that have been taught to our people. Just like what Noble Drew Ali brought to us. He came to give us back what was taken from us, which is our identity.
Islam. Well, before we go on, I just want to bring Brother Willie on here. He had a question he wanted to ask, so I'm just gonna bring him on, and then Morris could give their answers to his question. Peace, Brother Willie.
Peace, brother Kojo. What a go on, what a go on, what a go on, and greetings, everybody. Greetings, greetings, greetings.
You're here. So you had a question. You had WhatsApp me a question.
Yeah, all right. It's not really a question, it's a comment. So here's the deal. I'm in Canaanland. You call it Canada, they call it Canada, some call it Canada. What I'm concerned about is that we are a people who are very disjointed. We have Moors in America, we have Moors all around the United States, Canada, Jamaica, etc. I am not feeling the coming together in one voice. What I'm seeing most of the time is a division, which is what the slave masters have always been good at. They know that they know that we are good at dividing among each other. So they don't even worry about us because we have been set upon each other to criticize, condemn, instead of working together. And as you are studying the Bible tells you when the people are united, nothing shall be impossible when they were about to build the Tower of Babel. On the other hand, the Bible says, Christ says, any kingdom divided against itself can never stand. And what I see among the Moors here in Canada, America, the whole, all of them are just so disjointed and disunited. It's not funny. Some are disunited over all kind of whether it's belief or whatever, people don't like people. That's why the white man is not our problem. We are our own problem because of our lack of unity. And all I am saying is that we need to understand that if you're going to move a mountain, you can't do it by yourself. You need other people to pull on the mountain with you. So we have a mountain that we are fighting. We are fighting a system that is oppressing us. We have a system that we have to come together to fight. I hope when I watch the show Gladiator some years ago when they take on this one guy and the guy said, no, let us unite and unite the gladiators, and that's how they overthrow the barbarian. So all I'm saying, people, we need to stop this division way of approaching our thing, pull people together. We need proper leadership who can unite us together. When we're united, we can say to the government, we are a force to be reckoned with. We have our own ID. We have our own driver's license. We do our own thing. We self-govern, yet we unite as one. That is my vision for this thing. The whole of us sitting down and having discussion. Yeah, you learn something, but to me right now, what is relevant is for us to come together, map out a plan. You have enough numbers. There is strength in numbers. The same Bible tell you. That's what we need in these times. So we can have our own courts on these bastards. When they do anything, we can summon them to our court and put lien on them and take what things from them. The same way they can do it to us because we are all equal under the law. That is what I would love to see, rather than I'm not disrespecting the conversation, but I think we need unity and coming together. That's my piece. Thank you very much.
Well, respectfully,
Go ahead, Mo.
We have unity, and we've always had disagreement. We've always had people that shouldn't be in positions of authority trying to be in positions of authority. So whether you're looking at different mysteries or different anything that we're looking at, there's always been confusion. So I need us to, first of all, take a that trying to simplify something as if there's only one step that we could take, it's not possible. When we have 2 or 3 people that even have the same knowledge, there's still going to be a disagreement on how we should do that. And then who's going to be competent to take the position to have the jurisdiction to make that something into reality. So we have unity. It just doesn't, because it's work. And I think for a lot of Moors that come into consciousness recently, they think that just like politics today, whether you're looking at Europeans or any other nationality, they have disagreements. They are fighting and suing each other because they have disagreements. They're fighting for political, religious, financial, different motives that they're fighting for, just like we did. So to think that somehow us having a conversation or just getting some answering some questions isn't unity. This phone call, this YouTube, this live is an example of unity. Secondly, how do we go about doing that? And so this is how it goes. Self-work. This is the part nobody wants to do, because you have to get yourself in order. And when you get yourself in order, the people that you are around in your household, your loved ones, they see how you're starting to move, how you carry yourself, how you identify yourself. And you might get a couple of people within your local unit that would start to adapt, to start to identify as Moors, to maybe start changing how they eat, to maybe declare and proclaim their nationality. That's the most powerful thing you can do, is to get your house in order. So yeah, it sounds great about unity, but I mean, how many of us can say we got, people that are our siblings or our parents or cousins or our significant other that identifies or is declared to proclaim their nationality? That's unity. So how about you have a united household first before you try to go out and unite the world if your house is not united? So that to me would be like the first step. And it may not be possible. You might have somebody at the house that might not want to be on no Moorish type of time. So we're going to see how long people are going to commit to the chaos or the disputes of, I want to go and have a date night, but you want to go to the temple. You want to go and there's something going on with Canaanland and you trying to go visit them, and I want you to spend time with me. So I would suggest humbly to the brother, maybe if we all try to get our households in order, that would be a better start to unity than trying to go outside of where we have jurisdiction and authority of and trying to unite that. We have unity. And we give thanks to Cujo for having a place for those of us to have a place to come that lives according to the principles, to hit the hedges and the highways, to be able to meet up with Moors. And he's doing that with his, and he has been doing it, but he's making a concerted effort the last 2 years with the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice tour. So we have unity. It just depends on how you're looking at it. But again, why don't we get our houses in order? Get some loved ones to, study with you or go on this journey with you. So I'd say that and yield the floor, Islam.
Islam, I just wanted to add to that. This is a comment that I made years ago, back in 2021, when we were on stereo, and I was dealing with Moors of the UK. I said, if Moors, or if we can't get, I shouldn't say we, if Moors, period, whatever, can't get 3 people together to build a house, the idea of quote unquote global unity is literally a waste of time thinking about it. Because when I look at other nations, when they move to different countries or whatever, they'll live together. As an example, they'll come together, they'll live together, they'll build up their finances. And once they build their finances, they'll live uncomfortably, like, whatever, 10 people in a 3-bedroom place or whatever. They'll live uncomfortably, build up their finances, and then buy the building or buy the house next to that one. Do that for a while, buy the next one, and then slowly but surely they build a community. And so if my perspective is, if our people can't do something as simple as that, thinking about unifying all over the world just does not make any sense. It's the same conversation that I had with Icon back in the day. His mentality was unifying the world. I said, okay, with all due respect, good luck, but let me know how that's gonna go. Let me know in 5 years how that's going. Like, if somebody's never, as an example, if somebody's never created a business and had 15 to 20 employees, or was a manager at a job and had and was managing 15 to 20 people or 10 people or 5 people. The thought of unifying the globe of Asiatics on the globe is just, it's a process. And I've had this discussion between goal-oriented people, as an example, and process people. And process people stay in the process constantly over and over and over again, because if you're in the process, there's no finish line and there's no judgment. There's no critique. You don't finish anything. So my mentality was, or is, if we talk about unifying the globe, all the Asiatics on the globe, you're stuck in the process all the time. Because it's not like that happening is going to take if it happens, I'm just saying, if it happens, because, sure, anything is possible. That's going to take so long. You'd be able to build a community before that'll happen. And so that's just staying in the process of like, we need to unify before anything happens. And this is obviously 100%, this is not an attack on anybody, on the panel, not attacking Brother Willie. I'm just making this comment, right? If we constantly say we need to unify before anything can get done, that's staying in the process the whole time. This is staying in the process before anything can get done. Whereas if you take, we heard Giannis Antetokounmpo, if anybody follows NBA or whatever, and he talked about steps to success. And that's what it is. You need to start with little things, getting three people together to build a house, or 3 people together just to build a shed in the backyard as practice. If you can't do that, then that means you can't build a house, you can't build a community, and you can't unify the world. Like, it's just not going to happen. So let's just be real. Let's just be real. Be goal-oriented rather than staying in the process. I think that's just my mentality. So with that,
may I do a follow-up?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Floor is yours.
Okay. If we had unity, why don't we have one ID? Why don't we have one set of belief? Why don't we have one headquarters? Why don't we have one central location where decisions are made and passed down? Why don't we have a hierarchy of leadership? Why don't we speak in one voice? Instead, what I see, we have a guy named Lamont. We have a lady named Tajiribe. We have Kojo in here in Canada. We have Nine Feathers Bay trying to make a passport. Why don't all come together? That's a unity I'm talking about. I'm not talking about disagreeing on some doctrine or some beliefs. That's we understand that people have different minds, so they think differently, and we respect that. And we may not agree eye to eye, just like the Bible. You have one Bible, you have 20,000 different denominations, right? But what I'm talking about is all of us coming together to formulate a union that speaks in one voice. And this idea, I self-law and master, that is good. But I by myself with my little voice, I may reach so much and no more. There is effectiveness in numbers and unity. So I don't agree that we are united, because if we were united, we would be having one central location, headquarters, decision-making body, etc., etc. But then we can branch off into different, in terms of different, like how you have franchise, right? That is how the world is run. Systems and structures is how these people have mastered us. And if we have not learned that and implement the idea of systems and structures, we're going to just have splinter groups all over the place trying to make an impact, and we're not going to be effective as we should. I yield.
Respectfully, go ahead, Cujo.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that you know, why we're where we're at right now is because of disunity during Noble Drew Ali's time. Because we already had the infrastructure and we already had our own governors and we already had our own constitution. We had our own ID cards and all that back then. Once they got rid of Noble Drew Ali, now you have these splinter things that you're talking about, saying that there's no unity, without realizing that, you know, of all those people that you mentioned, we've been here the longest. We've been here the longest. And being here the longest, we know that all those people that you mentioned came late. And they did all types of madness with this Moorish information. They did all types of corruption with this Moorish information. Just because the people didn't take it on their self, like Noble Drew Ali told them that this is yours, so you better protect it, because they assassinated him, his own people. So what do you think they're going to do for you not to get this? So when you're talking about, you know, having a central location and whatever like that, that's what Chicago was. But because of the infiltration, because of the traders and the sellouts in the Moorish movement, we're not talking about blacks and all of them. We're talking about in our own Moorish paradigm, because of the sellout in there, that's why you're talking how you're talking. And that's why right now you're on one of the central locations with regard to this Moorish paradigm in 2024. If you're going to get something true, up to date right now, this is one of the spots. This is one of the central locations. That all these Moors on here are Moors who they could go on the phone and contact each other. This is not some online thing. Going back again to the thing that the mother was saying, that there is Moorish unity. But it's interesting that people who always cry, where's the Moorish unity, are always outside of the Moorish unity. Opposed to recognizing that, oh, that's Moorish unity going on over there. Let me go over there and get down with the Moorish unity that I'm looking for. But I yield the floor.
Islam, I just wanted to camel back off of what you said, Grand Sheik. So again, it's perspective. You have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So having a place to go is a part of a system and a structure. And we are the creators of the systems and the structures. There is no white man that's a pale-faced pink person. We are the slave masters and we are the liberators. So just like we have the higher self and the lower self, the heaven and the hell, as above, so below, that's still self. That goes back to us working on self first. So the unity, when I hear this is something that's an internal self question. This is a pivot. This is a change. This is a part of a process. This is almost like an emotion. This is a journey. This is a self-discovery process. So we're talking about governance. That's the science and the art of governing people. So that's the power of, as Cujo said, the idea of propaganda, the idea of systems and structures is how you have a nation set up so that as the people are growing up, they have some of the tools necessary to run a government, for them to give consent to. I was like, if we're listening to your perspective, then it has to be a totalitarian kind of like some kind of monarchy where there's only one. There's no questions asked. And some of our ancestors and some people have a benefit for a monarchy, but the concept of unity is self. That's why the I self, and I found it interesting that you said the I self law of master. So these different epigrams and anagrams, and these different things that have a symbol, that's a part of people having to do internal work, which is the stuff that you can't see. It's like when you have a stat sheet, that's the hustle plays. That's the person that's going to dive for the ball. That's the person that's going to be at the gym first and the last time to leave. Going to be at the library first or the last one to leave. How many of Moors that are in the sound of my voice have done anything for a year? So whether that's support a temple by paying dues, have you met up with other Moors in your jurisdiction? Do you have a study group? So this is a part of it is I am what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing. So I see unity because I'm unified. I see disunity because I don't have unity within self. Or maybe I have disjointed or inconsistent efforts of maybe there might not be any Moors around me, or maybe I don't know how much to pay dues or who's a Moor that I should actually, send finance to. So when we're listening to the example of using the Sun books or any type of book, we're dealing with metaphysics, which again goes back to self. So it's going to be something outside of me, but it's also going to be something more importantly that's going to be inside of me. So when I see unity, I see it within me because I'm a unified person. I am who I am. I can go and meet Moors. I can go and support Moors. I can go and be on a call, or I can do something that's going to uplift fallen humanity. I have a way to contribute to the Moorish Divine and National movement. So that's unity. So I can't be focused on everything I won't be focused on things that are always out of my control. I can only focus on things that are under my domain. And then when we look at throughout what we know about heritage and history, it's always been a small group of people that have been the stimulus, to have been the motivation to start something off. And we've inspired people to take it upon themselves to have a revolution or to question or to do whatever. So humbly, I suggest that when we have these questions, it's an internal thing first. Because with all the good things that are happening, yes, it's just the part of it, right? Upper and lower self. And I posted something, I don't know how many months ago, other cultures have these principles. So when Noble Drew Ali is talking about he's removing the covers, when things were hidden, other cultures had access to this information and he pulled back the covers. This is your nationality, your birthright. And he also said, he could count the Moors that are doing right on one hand. And some of the Moors that are doing right are going to catch a little fire on their hind parts. Even though you're still doing the right thing doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging. So I think that's a part of the coming in as a neophyte, is that people think that, at some point our people always agreed. Anybody that's ever been around people in any organization or leadership knows that that's never the case. And it's very difficult to be with other people who have other motives or may not, they have real life that gets in front of them. They have to be able to take care of themselves and pay the bills. So when we have Moorish businesses that can hire people, that creates more systems and structures. And we're able to fund quality businesses, not this shady stuff that people produce and put it out there. You're like, what is this? It's not good quality. So I just humbly suggest that we keep doing the work, the self-work, that deep work. And we'll start to see, there's like-minded Moors that will come into contact. And I think it was, I can't think of the Moor out there that Cujo went. There was only 2 of them out there. He's like, well, it might just be. Yeah.
I'm here right now. I've been waiting, and I got kicked off because I was traveling from work, so I lost reception and all that. I'm here now. I've just been in the backstage, so to speak, kind of just listening. Like Sheldon said, he jumped on because he heard you in here. I jumped on because I heard y'all in here. So
And I'm gonna
That's
give
the
it to
unity.
you. I'm a pass the baton to you because it's right on time. We're talking about what that looked like, especially with your story out there where you are. So I yield for Islam more.
Absolutely, Empress. And just like you just said, this is what it feels like. This is the unity that brother was speaking about. It's here. We got it. What's understood don't need to be said. Like Cujo even said when he jumped off the plane and I met him in the airport and all that stuff. And he walked up to me. I walked up to him. I ain't never met Cujo and talked to him on the phone a couple of times. Other than that, we hugged, dapped each other up, and it was nothing but smiles and laughter and good times from then till I dropped him back off at the airport to get back on the plane. So that's the unity right there. It's already here. It's just a matter, as you said, sister. It's and I try to express that to people all the time. Like, it's not going to be any instant benefit or anything coming into this more science. More times than not, it's going to be the exact opposite coming into this knowledge because of the niggerdom that's out there and having to break away from friends and family and close people and stuff like that. And then like Cujo said earlier, to having to go in and out of courts, this, that, and the other, and thinking that has to be done and all that. So it starts with self first. You got to get it in you first. Once it's in you, just like I said, when me and Cujo met, that unity was already there, instantaneous. It was already there. So that unity, once you get it in yourself, you'll find it. Moors will find you, you'll find them, et cetera, and is the snowball effect after that. But you got to get it in you first. In you. You got to be in you. You got to be about this, or else it's never going to gel right. I yield. And like I said, Cujo, I was just here to spectate, but I chimed in just to chime in. So Islam, give thanks.
Perfect timing.
And I'm on my way to native foods. Matter of fact, let me drop that gem off.
Islam. Just wanted to add on to what was being said. I think, and when I say you, I'm talking about the proverbial you, if you want unity, start like Empress said, start with your house, get unity there first, then, branch out and see if you can get more people and so on. And just build, let's see you build a community of, let's say 7 households. Let's see how long it takes between 7. They say 7 is the God number. Let's see how long it takes to unify 7 households within your community, and choose a leader who's going to represent that. And let's just see how long that could, before we talk about unifying in one voice and all that, let's just see you and the proverbial you once again unify 7 households under the same quote unquote laws or whatever like that, with one representative. And then once you get that, then let's see if you can find another one who did the same thing, and then y'all then come together to form I guess bigger part of the community or something like that. So then that'll be 14 houses. Before you even think about one voice and so on, just do that. Show that can be done first. Because outside of that, in my opinion, it's just the thing to say. It's the in thing to say, oh, we need unity. Like, you know what I'm saying? So with that, I yield.
Exactly. I already thought we was unified. To me, Canaanland Moors is the hub. The division are the sellout. You can't unite with sellouts.
Brother Bay, could you just elaborate on that? That you can't unite with sellouts, because that's part of the issue with people not seeing the unity.
Can't unite with somebody who don't have knowledge of themselves, don't really recognize who they are. You got Nation of Islam, a sellout. They selling out. They want to be reincarnated, Noble Ali, rather than just be themselves. Got Hebrew Israelites, they sellouts. Rather be Hebrew Israelites rather than be themselves. To me, Canaanland Moor is the hub, is the platform that's been portraying unity ever since I've known it. The problem is those who don't want to accept that. It's simple. To me, when you base it on geography, that's why I asked them to read that page again from Canaanland. You got to know where you are. You think you somewhere else other than Canaanland, you divided. Real simple to me. Learn geography. Get knowledge of self. Platform already been set up 1913, Old Canaanite Glory. Sellouts came in, tried to flip the script. Now you have all these pockets outside of that trying to present something new instead of sticking to the quota. 7 Articles, 10 Bill of Rights, the supreme law of the land. Enforce it. Stand on principles. Nationality is the order of the day. Got to have knowledge of self. Just stick to the principles. Be sincere with yourself. Start with yourself first. Just like the mother said, just be sincere. Start with yourself first. Your heart is pure, your thoughts are pure, you'll get the unity that you desire. To me, everybody's on this platform because we unified one thought process. That's Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Anything outside of that, there's no unity. Nobody wants to put the prophet first. Sellouts want to be the prophet instead of giving the prophet his props.
I shaded that. Say that again.
Sellouts want to be the prophet instead of giving the prophet his props. That's what the division comes in at. Everybody want to be a reincarnated Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Old Canaanite Glory, 1913. Already been set up. Vision comes in all them sellouts. But everybody on this platform know that Canaanland Moor is unified. Should know it. Or else you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't see any unity. I didn't see someone who shared the same thought process I did. That's what putting Prophet Noble Drew Ali up front. Because he's the only one gave us back ourselves. To me, Hebrew Israelites didn't do that. Nation of Islam didn't do that.
Can I say something?
Islam.
Yeah. I heard the Empress saying about study groups and what have you. As I have indicated earlier, it is. I don't think, even though I am not under playing study groups, I would love to hear that we need some action group. But the question is, do we really know what we do? We have any goals? that we are trying to accomplish? What are the current goals that leadership is trying to accomplish, apart from just every day getting up and study and talk and have nice discussion? Where is this getting us in terms of helping people to be free, in helping to gather the masses, in helping to reach the masses, in helping to reach more people, and educate them about this knowledge that we have, and also help them to liberate themselves from the system of oppression that we're under? What is the action that are being taken, and the goal? That is what I would love to hear.
Islam, that's a great point.
Nationality is the order of the day. Nationality, everything else falls into place after nationality is established.
So brother, so do you have the literature? Do you have the prophecies and statements? Do you have the Circle 7 Quran?
I have been introduced to this thing about 4 years ago. It has captured my whole imagination and attention and consumed me, because this is a new world for me. For me, it's like taking on the entire world on my shoulders, and as a result, when you've learned certain things, you begin to understand how the world works, and you begin to see the fraud that we have lived into how many centuries. And now, if you have the spirit that I have, you tend to want to oppose all fraudulent contracts, all fraudulent behavior. And so I am now like one who is fighting my own battles with like the cities and lawyers and this and that. But sometimes it is such a hard task when you don't have that support, that you can take up your phone and call and say, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or, hey, I need to let us, this set of lawyers or these people are giving me problem. How about we help us to create a bond and put a lien against these people, to let them know that when I say you don't use my name, because my name is copyrighted and what have you, so you don't use that name or I will sue you. But I don't know how to create a bond. I don't know how to do a lien. I don't know how to do a levy. You see, these are some of the things that what I'm talking about, where we need to be empowered on how to use legitimately our right, or to protect those rights, and how to enforce those rights, and when people violate them, how to hold them guilty the same way they hold us guilty by taking our stuff away and putting us behind bars and in their cages and things like that. Well, we need to now come together, what I'm talking about, to say, hey, no, you're not going to usurp me. You're not going to do that to me. So that is what I am undergoing even as I speak, but I don't feel like I have competent people that I can, well, let me not put it that way. I don't feel like I have that moral support that I can turn to say, how do I do this? Because nobody, what I'm saying is we need alternative to. Let's say I want to relinquish my Canadian citizenship, passport and thing. I need to have a proper alternative before I do any such thing. But do we have an alternative that works? I doubt it. So now I'm in a jam. I want to get out of the system.
I'm going to cut your wisdom, brother, because I asked you a simple question. My question to you was, did you have the prophecies and statements, or do you have the Circle 7 Quran? And have you read them if you have them? And so what
I've been introduced to the concept.
So let me, for the sake of time, I'm going to say no based off of your response. And what am I getting at when I'm saying this? So you being introduced to some, and the process of this is why I say that it's so important to study and to be patient. So there's a book called The Art of Peace, a book called The Art of War. So what we have to do is to know thyself. So it sounds very vague. It sounds very kind of broad to say know thyself. So whether that's your natal chart, whether that's just your personality, like your ego self, what you're going to have to do in your studying. So when the prophet says study, study, study. So that's why I'm saying when you have the prophecies and statements and you have the circle 7, that gives you a foundation, at least of what they have left behind. We know that there was a lot more, but that's some of the things that we have. So when you're able to find this one voice and this purpose and these parameters and systems, you have it there based off of just those 2 pamphlets, the prophecies and statements and the circle 7. So that gives you a chance for you to find out what you need to do for you. Those of us have been in this movement 14 years officially. So what we're talking about is the idea of how you need to govern yourself. Your local jurisdiction doesn't knock on people's doors and tell them, this is what you need to do. They have a place where you can get information and you can decide how you're going to utilize that information, or you're going to have someone to present you or so-called represent you. So that the questions that you're asking, people have been asking them as soon as they come in. But one of the things that when I was studying, I learned that it makes sense for me to be still and actually know what I am going to strategically decide to respond to, or what I can ignore. And some things I'm just going to have to let go because I understand sustainability. So this is where we're talking about governing self. Mother Roz talks about govern your mental, government. This is why the know thyself and the I self law and master aren't something just to be trifled with. They're keys in your strategy on how you're going to best expend your energy strategically to decide what you're going to do in the process. So freeing your mind and freeing yourself is the first thing, but it's not, you don't have the arms of Ganesh to fight 8 different ways. So this is a part of studying. So you're going to have to strategically decide, like, I'm not going to be able to fight all. It's just not, that's not even possible. You're not going to be able to fight so many fronts depending upon what you're trying to do. So if you're looking for people to give you advices on how to do that I'm not going to do that, even though I know how to do those things, because we have too many people that come here trying to get out of something as opposed to putting in those years of study.
Islam.
Right.
Everybody come in trying to get out of something, always trying to get somebody to put them on game.
Yes.
No, that's not, I came into this to break the curse. I came into this to reconnect to ancestors. I came into this with some Akashic ethereal type stuff. I didn't come into this looking for no earthly mundane things. That's me.
Mother?
Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, mother, Islam. You know, like what they say, mama knows best. So, to the brother earlier, you guys can hear me?
I say we can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, like they say, mother knows best. And for the brother earlier, William, just like mother said, you basically just gotta go back to the basics of what this movement is about. Because if you don't understand what this movement is about and what your nationality is and what your birthright is about, then you don't have no foundation to begin with. So you can't build and unite, just like you said, you want unity when you don't have union with yourself. Unity comes from union with yourself first. So, like the mother said earlier, a lot of people come into this movement when they hit a pit stop and they're in some kind of situation or some bind, and they think it's, some kind of information that's going to be the end all be all, when it doesn't work like this. The prophet brought you this information to free you, not to get you out of a certain situation and then you go back to whatever it is you was doing. It doesn't work that way. So you got to learn the information. If somebody presented you the information about the holy circles, the Holy Quran, Circle 7, read the information. Because it sounds like, when the mother told you about if you had this piece of literature, you said you would be introduced to it. But if you've been
You broke up, brother. You're breaking up.
Oh,
you're breaking up.
Oh man, I'm in the mountain area of Wisconsin right now, so it's
Yeah, where you are right now, you're good.
Okay.
Oh, you got
Oh,
cut
yeah,
off.
you got.
I just wanted to add real quick to what
I was gonna say. All right, go ahead.
what Empress was saying real quick is Prophet said to leave old business, as it is, and do new business, free national. A lot of what you said, Brother Willie, seems like there's a lot of stuff that things that you're trying to get out of in terms of your old appellation. And my initial thought when you were speaking was, why don't you create a business in your free national name and start fresh from there? In terms of when we're talking about unity and so on and so forth, if Moors had their own, whatever the business is, whatever it is, right? But in your free national name, do it properly rather than going back to try to change stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not do that? In terms of the Canada passport, all you need to, you can still use it. All you need to do is reserve your rights and use it. Or if you want, you can also change your appellation. Now, some more say correcting your appellation. Some places don't allow it. Are you a part of a temple that they can seal the documents so that you can get it done? That was another question that I had, because a lot of the stuff that you're asking seems to be temple related and stuff like that you can get done, and that assistance you can have that assistance from an actual temple. You can get it sealed there, like your appellations, you can get it sealed. Some places still don't accept it. So then go to a notary, pay for it, whatever it is, whatever, $150 or whatever, to 200 or whatever it is, to have your appellation officially changed, like Amari did that. And then it's done. And then if you want, then you'll have the L and all that on the passport, but then you still, regardless, reserve your rights on it and use it. There's nothing wrong with using that document. At the end of the day, it's a contract. As long as you reserve your rights, then you're straight. So it just sounds like there's a lot of stuff you're battling for, and you don't necessarily need to. You can just drop all that old stuff and just create new stuff in your free national and move forward rather than going back to change stuff. So with that, I yield.
All right, yeah, let me do a follow-up if you don't mind. Earlier gentleman said about fixing self and all of that. I don't have a problem with myself. I'm not in battle with myself. I'm in battle with a system of fraud that is upon the land that we have to. Somebody saying something because I'm talking. Somebody could you just mute your mic, please, because I'm trying to talk. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, so I'm not in conflict with myself. I'm not saying I'm fighting. I'm not fighting, but I don't know if you all know what is happening in Canada. For the past about a month, I've had 3 experiences, and I'm going to share them with you quickly. I went to get a passport for my son. I taught him how to write his name as a living and to reserve his rights. This was met with a lot of opposition, to the point where I had to threaten them, and they called police and all of that. I don't have the time to get into the nitty-gritty details. That was one experience. 2, I was getting a gun license here in Canada. I wrote my name or living man write his name, and I reserved my rights. To my chagrin, it was scratched out. My son just did his driver's license, and he was doing likewise. they sent him a letter just this week, say that they don't accept it. In other words, and when he was doing even the tests, they're trying to get people not to reserve their right. What does that say to you? We're up against a system that is fraudulent, that wants you to have absolutely no right. That is what I'm talking about, right? So that is what I have a problem with, and that's what I'm saying, that we as Moors, we have to find better ways, legal and lawful ways to interact with the commercial system that they have. But they, at the same time, if there's commercial, they're trying to tell you that you cannot reserve your right, and they don't accept this and that. So now you're gonna have to be writing them to say, how dare you tell me how to sign my name, and how dare you to tell me that I can't reserve my right? I yield.
So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to put this matter to bed because it's taken away from the flow of the conversation, but I guess it's necessary. So there are ways to navigate. You just are not aware of them. So if you would even go back and look at even some just searching the interwebs, or even if you just go to Kudos, Canaanland, all of these questions that you have been addressed year after year after year after year. So there are strategies that are publicly out there. You just haven't employed them. This is going back to the part of the frustration, the disunity, because the sources that you have not researched them. So resources. So in order to have the sources, you have to research them. So there's plenty of this that's out there. And so that's why we say, in order to build a house, you have to have a solid foundation. And those are the prophecies and statements. And that's the circle 7 that Noble divinely prepared for us. And then there are the lineage of the people, like we're talking about pedigree, the lineage of people who create and expand leadership. So people are on point with their message based off of the spirit in which they're moving. There's plenty of resources just even in the commercial world for you to be able to navigate, not even trying to put the pressure on Moors. There's plenty of ways for you to be able to get resources. It just takes time. I think that's the one thing that when people say mistakenly that time is money. No. Time is more valuable than finance or money because it's in limited supply, but it cannot be a microwave, instant ramen noodle type vibe. It takes time to be comfortable and then competent to know how to address these things without having to fight. That means it's like we have people that are farmers, but now they're going to be soldiers. They're not prepared to fight. So you have decided that you're a Moor, but you're not prepared. And that takes time. So whether we give you a PowerPoint, we give you audio, step by step, you still are going to be overwhelmed in knowing what to do because the foundation. That's why it's divine and national movement.
And as you
there
mentioned,
is a spirit side to that. I yield.
So why don't you, instead of saying resources are out there, why don't you give me the link and tell me you can go here, watch this video, watch this, do that. You're sending me on a wild goose chase
You
and
want
tell me
me
what
to
you
do
have.
it work for you?
No, I don't. But if you know what I don't know, this is your job to help those who
It's
don't
my,
know.
so I am your warden. You are my ward, is what you're saying.
No, it's about helping each other. I'm telling you, I'm a baby to this thing. So you're supposed to help the baby if you're mature in the faith. That's
but
how it works.
Look at it like this. Look at it like this. Amor said it in the chat. Look at it like this. Because somebody wasted your time for 4 years instead of because you said that you're in Canaanland, right? So because somebody wasted your time for 4 years and didn't tell you come here 4 years ago, this is why you're confused right now. Because if you were here from 4 years ago, from whoever it is that brought you into this, because obviously it wasn't us who brought you into this. Somebody else in Canaanland brought you into this, but it wasn't us. So whoever brought you into this, they brought you into this with with completely messed up concepts. So now you don't even know what to do now. So now that you're here in this place, it's like you're starting over again. Everything that you thought you knew, that was some BS, because all your concepts are wrong right now. And that's just from hearing you talking and the questions that's being asked. Because if you've been in this 4 years and you were studying from the sources where we study from for the past 4 years.
Yeah, brother, but you're arguing, you say if this, if that. The fact is it is not. So let us not talk about what should have, could have been. You need to talk about what is now. How do we deal with what is now? You can't blame a man for what he didn't know. A man is a fool to what he didn't know, right? Nothing happens before the time. So for you to be, you spend time, waste time with, okay, it is what was available. You make use of what is available. How about, I am here now. Tell me, Willie, do this, do that. Here's some link. Check out this, check out that. And that I appreciate. I don't appreciate the badgering of the witness, please.
No, but I did that already. You're talking as if this is the first time you and I had some conversation or something. We've been talking for the past 2 months, maybe before that. Don't make it sound like you haven't been put on game.
Brother, may you have about 2 conversations with a young lady? 2 times we talk or 3 times. Come on, you make it with 2 months and all of that. It's just about 2 times you and I talk with a lady that introduced me to you recently, about a couple of weeks ago.
What did I tell you when we spoke?
Can I ask this question for him, brother Cujo?
What did I tell you when we spoke? What did I tell you? What was my instructions to you?
Yeah, you told that videos and what have you, and you know, you have to respect the fact too that people have a life outside of sitting and watching a video, right? Is that what you mean?
But Willie, you just asked him about giving you a link, and he gave you stuff to watch, and now you're saying that you don't have time to watch the video?
Wow.
No, about 20,000 videos. What we need to have is a situation where people like me and new people can be narrowed down to say, here are your foundational videos. Watch those. To send me, just say, there's a lot of videos that I talk about.
They're called back to basics. They're called back to basics. They're called back to basics.
Yeah,
he's done 2 versions of them.
Foundational stuff. Send me and give me the foundation. Since you feel
I gave you the name of the video. Back to basics. Back to basics. Canaanland Moors. Back to basics.
Excellent. I will check that one.
But this is. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to yield, because this is when I get perturbed. This is crazy. Because we want people to. You want from one. You talk about a slave master, so you want to go from one slave master that's a European to another slave master that's a Moor. You want me to hold your hand through this process?
No, darling, I did not ask you for any such thing. You see, that's the problem. We are so intolerant.
You mean you?
Tell you that.
You mean you?
No, if I tell you, sister, that I'm new to the movement and you're there as a mature, what does a mature person do to a babe?
I've given you 50,000 gems in this conversation.
Hold on, let me finish, please. You have babes in stuff. People are new. You have experienced people in stuff. The person who is a pilot who was learned to fly for 20,000 hours is not the same as the one that fly for 2 or 3 hours. So the one with the 10,000 hours help the one with 1 or 2 hours to how to fly. That's what we do. And if hold on, let me finish. If you people have a problem with helping your new babes, then you have a friggin' big problem, because it means that you feel that people are going to just automatically mature and know every damn thing, and it doesn't work like that. People help people.
Are you finished?
When does the baby tell the parent what to do?
Everyone, yield the floor.
When does the baby tell the parent?
Yield the floor, please.
Hold on, Moore. Let the mother talk.
Let me say this to you. And this is when we talk about eyes to see and ears to hear, that throughout whatever we were saying, and they prove this scientifically, people hear what they want to hear. We know this is Moors as well. When we gave you reference points of things for you to do to purchase, you know what? I don't have the prophecies and statements. Oh no, I don't have the circle 7. I'm gonna be ordering that as I'm on the phone right now. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be searching the Canaanland Moors YouTube page for the questions and issues that I have right now. I told you to do that. I'm gonna go through and look at what does he have on this, as I mentioned that 30 minutes ago. There are other sources for you to find. Seek and ye shall find. So this is why we're saying divine and national movement. You cannot build anything and you don't have a foundation. You want systems and structures, but you're resisting the system and structure that requires you to
I
be the
am not
initiate.
resisting, but
Brother,
you
I did not
just
interrupt
somebody
you.
just hold on.
Brethren,
Somebody just can I just say something, please?
no, because I
No,
was
no, no.
Somebody
speaking
Let
and
the
this
just
is
mother
not
finish.
mentioned
discipline.
Let
that
the mother
This is
finish.
I was in
disrespectful
the
and you
wrong.
lack
Finish.
discipline.
Hold
Mr.
on.
Willie,
Somebody was
Mr.
just
Willie,
saying
you're
I was
lacking
in the
discipline.
wrong.
Let the mother finish.
Mr. Willie, this is a problem with emotional people coming in. Listen, hear and listen. We have given you many things for you to be able to do. And I will say this, me being new to the information 14 years ago, I wouldn't had the courage to get on here and ask a question. I would have been taking notes the whole time. And once I'd done my due diligence, I would have followed back up with Grand Sheik Cujo or whoever else he had referred to me to speak with them. Because we talk about systems and structures. Babies only communicate with babies. You're not able to communicate with the head of the nursery. So we're talking about hierarchy. So we have to understand that there's a part of the process that we have to do for self. And there is no overlord or no slave master that's going to hold your hand and guide you. This is self-study. That's why I said if you have the prophecies and statements and the Circle 7 Quran, that'll give you a foundation of what you're up against. It's not supposed to be easy. And I said earlier, the prophet talks about even if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's still going to be challenging because this is the divine spiritual side of what we are fighting up against. It's not supposed to be easy. And it's supposed to take some time. And again, that's when you're going to have to fight through having to discern if you're doing price comparison. If you're trying to buy something, you research yourself, you compare prices, you want to be able to look through and look at all the details. That's what you should have did with this Moorish information. And I wish that you will do this forward, but to make it seem like somehow this conversation, which is giving you information, the pushback should be to the Moors who wasted your time for 4 years, not for us or not for me specifically. I yield the floor.
Islam, mother. I just want to interject. I want to add on to what you said. Can you guys hear me? Just making sure if I'm
Yeah, we can hear you more.
heard.
We can hear you.
Okay. So so all this time that's passed, and the Moors on this panel and the Moors in the chat, have been trying to tell Mr. William that he has to go study, and they gave him the reference points to study. So for him to just spend all this time going back and forth talking about he wants the knowledge, he wants the links, and they've been giving you that, but when you peek through the veil, what you really want is a microwave response. You want a quicker fixer upper, and it doesn't work like that. Like the mother keep telling you, it takes time because you got to understand where your concepts are wrong, and now that's when you got to get over the ego and the pain that you're feeling, the frustration that you're feeling from the Moors who wasted your time with the incorrect information, and now that you've run into upstanding righteous Moors who are trying to get you to relearn, first unlearn what you learned, then relearn the correct knowledge, so that way you can at least know the basics and know where you have to go from there. But you can't just go back and forth telling the Moors on this panel, hey, send me the information, when they're actually I sat here and listened. I listened with my ears and I heard them give you reference points, and Cujo even said he sent you videos and you're still asking for the links. So it's obviously that you have
Video more than that.
right. So it's
You
and
don't
then he
have
said
immunity.
and then he said, he doesn't have conflict within himself. Well, if that's not conflict with self, I yield the floor. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
See,
And then he
just
gets
like
on here and
Joe, that's something we were talking about. That that energy that made me give up and stop doing what I was doing, and made Marino Bay stop making videos and stop doing what he was doing, and because it's that same energy. We're giving you the literature, showing you the resources, having classes. We're telling you, showing you what to fucking do, and you don't. Your lazy ass don't want to fucking do it. I'm tired of fucking talking, man. This shit's simple. This shit, like Taj said 10 years ago, this is so simple. A third grader should be able to get it and understand it. So why the fuck am I having to argue with adults about it?
Hey, Yeshua said it right. Stiff-necked fools.
And this is what gets people jammed up, because the fact that he pretty much said, like, what am I supposed to do? Tell me what I'm supposed to do. So if that's the case, you're gonna run into, which is what happened clearly in the last 4 years.
That's what got him messed up in the last 4 years.
Right.
Exactly.
Because people are telling him what to do that don't know what to do, rather than him taking the time to really learn it. Because
you know, here talk about 9 feathers.
Prime example. So, you know, I use my nationality card and I go places and you know, I'll eat and I'll say you know, there's no taxes or whatever like that. And a lot of times the manager of the store will come back, or the manager of the restaurant or whatever will come back and ask me specific questions. And I answer them. And there's one time he came and he asked me a question. I told him. He actually researched what I said. He came back and then he said, well, you know, we don't accept that because XYZ. And then I answered him again, and he kind of like sighed, and then he went back, and then he did the research, and then he came back and he said, oh, okay, no problem. So prime example, I knew nobody told me to say that. I knew what it was about, so I knew how to answer it. The problem with him is, if he's telling me what do I do and what do I say, if he goes someplace and he's making the application or whatever like that, and that person throws in something that he hasn't heard before, he's not going to know how to defend it.
It's a wrap.
And this is why we're saying you have to take the time to study it.
And
so he wants to spend money.
Don't listen to the sellout.
That's what's gonna, and that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna get him, and that's what he wants.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're gonna get him easy because he's so eager to get an answer and so eager to get a response, as opposed to sitting his ass down, taking some time and studying something and learning something that's gonna help and affect him, because it's for him.
Islam. And I guarantee you, the whole time we was talking, I guarantee you, I could put this on everything I love, that he did not have a pen or paper.
That's why I said
he was not writing down anything. He just wanted to argue, go back and forth. Even when he said, you know where I knew he messed up? And I'm not trying to diss the brother. Brother, I know you out there. You're not on the line. I don't think you are, but
no, he's still listening.
He's still listening, right? I just want you to know this. We're scolding you because you have to understand. There's no click one button and everything gets fixed. There's no magic, you know, like that Staples commercial when you press that red button and all your problems go away or whatever.
The easy button. There's no Moorish easy button.
Yeah, there's no microwave Moors over here. You want the microwave stuff, go on over there and get raped and pillaged for a couple of packages and then come back and complain and tell us about it.
Right.
Stop listening to wisdom.
You're on a
Stop
panel.
listening to 9 feathers.
You came on a panel with Moors that did the work. You understand? Key word. Moors that did the work and continue to do the work, right? It's a lifetime commitment. It ain't no, oh, I'm gonna just be a Moor for 30 days and then I'm gonna bounce back to the other side. Once my situation is solved, I'm gonna bounce back and then go be a Negro again, go be a nigga. You know, it don't work like this, man. You're talking about nationality and birthright, and if you don't understand the basics of that, you're gonna be lost every time.
He doesn't, and he's very lost, and that's why we could. That's why I was like, you're not talking about disunity if you haven't actually just research. Like, all it does is just a simple research. Google. We're not even gonna talk about we just say Google or YouTube something. You would have found some remedy if you had just done that. But you want people to tell you what to do, which is about being under. He was like, yeah, I want you to tell. I'm like, what? You still want to be a ward. That's what we're talking about here. This is the concept of he doesn't want freedom. He doesn't, because it requires work. And again, time. So those people that are listening, I don't care how much finance you have. And for most people, you don't have a lot of finance. So I don't know how y'all are going into your little pensions or what. You spending 5 and 10K off of stuff that you could, if you just took the time or searched out Moors, go online to they still got the Moors Heritage and History School. Go listen to those recordings. Go look at the old videos. I did that. For a long time.
RV Bay alone to help solve.
That's gonna overwhelm him even more, because I went there. I remember I went there. I was like, oh no, this is, because she used to have the test on there that said if you're not ready, it was a test. I don't know if she still has it on there. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I downloaded. I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. And I got all my books. I got all my dicks. So I'm saying, like, what have you done to get you in a position to understand? And that's what people are looking for. They want this easy button. They want people to tell them what to do. And that's what's going to waste some more of his time, because he keeps, oh, well, I have a life. We all have lives. This is how we live.
And that's, you know what? And to your point, he said he has a life, because he did say that, right?
Yep, he did say that.
So this is the thing. So for him to say that and then to say he's a Moor, he just separated that between, it's not a way of life it's a thing to him. For him to say he has a life and he's a Moor, and then, do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Absolutely, Sheldon, 1,000%, 1,000%. Because I told Cujo the same shit when he was out here. It's on a Friday. You sure that's gonna be okay? Hey man, look, you coming out here. If they can't take time off work or whatever the fuck they got going on to come and see you in person for this, then yeah, then screw them. It's just gonna be us too. So be it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That is
just crazy. Pure craziness. Pure craziness.
Nuts. And this is not real for him. Yeah. Well, you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to get Brother Amir in there because he's been in the back for a little bit. Please, Amir.
Islam, brother.
Nah, y'all covered it, man. I wanted him. Somebody needed to tell him what the Moors told him. I don't have nothing to say now, man. I'm just gonna sit in the back. But that was ridiculous, and it was point made exactly what the Moors not to do. Like, come on, man. Come on now. That boy wanted the mother to bird feed him. Please spit it in my mouth.
He
like,
wanted
come
me to
on,
breastfeed
man.
him. That's what he wanted. He wanted me to breastfeed him. That's what he wanted.
That's embarrassing, man. How can you call yourself a Moor and you conduct yourself like that? Oh my Lord.
I want unity. He don't have unity.
And he has a life.
My thing.
And she gave him the basics, and he still wouldn't take it. He still would not.
That's what I say.
Knowledge.
Those that say that there's no unity, those are all of the ones that lack one of the key principles, discipline. They lack discipline. You have to have discipline. This takes some study, some digging deep down within yourself. You got, like I said, man, I wasn't in jail, but I put myself in a mental jail for like 2 or 3 years studying. I put that on my kids' life because that's what I wanted to do. Not because nobody told me, not because Taj video said, not because Canaanland Moor showed me, none of that. I did it because I wanted to. If you ain't got that determination and that drive for when you find out this or that and that light bulb go off, then man, you ain't meant to be around each other.
Islam.
You know, I really want to see if he now joins Canaanland Moor's temple, because if he's at Canaanland, he should be part of that temple.
Sheldon.
Facts.
Sheldon. Sheldon. So look, this is how you can suss people to suss them out, right? So they come in talking unity. That's a smoke screen. That's a red herring. That means you have an agenda, because that's not really what we get into. So let's get to the nitty gritty.
Weird. Yeah.
That's why I was like, that doesn't mean anything. So
was weird.
No, that's why I was like, he keep repeating himself. So I'm like, okay, so do you have, remember I asked him, I said, do you have the prophecies and statements? He goes on to give me a whole diatribe about his whole, and again, so now I'm getting to what he wants. Oh, I need this So I'm like, well, if you're trying to get me to tell you what to do, even though I know how to do it, I'm not telling you. You want me to be, I literally told you, you could have just searched, not even knowing that Cujo had already talked to him moons ago. You could have just did that, just searching Canaan. You could have just did that just on the strength. This is what happens. So for all those who will hear this in the future, this is what you don't want to do. If you're putting your life in the hands of somebody, whether it's finance or not, you are a fool. Even if we talk about like some Harriet Tubman type of time, you got to be quiet. We're running for freedom. You're making too much noise. You know what? You can't go with us because you're gonna cause a problem.
Oh yeah, we would all.
You're gonna get us killed. You're gonna get us killed. You're a fool.
Empty wagon make the most noise.
He'll be the type mother tell him the plan, and he'll be the type to say, "How we gonna eat? How we gonna survive without the plantation? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do that?"
Yeah, I used to use that analogy. He one of them Moors that we done got off the plantation. All right, we good now. What's our next move? And we running this way, and he run back. That I'm going back. We ain't got no food. We ain't got no shelter. It's about to rain on us. We got to go back to how we gonna make it without master telling us what to do? Like you say, you want to swap masters. I say that even with those Moors that come in and because I've dealt with that too, that come in and want to switch from the quote unquote church Negro to now you want to be a Islamic Moor, quote unquote, thinking that coming to the meetings at the library and stuff like that is like going to church, literally. Like, yeah, that's how they look at it, like it's church.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not a substitute for that at all, in no way, shape, form, or fashion. You can still go to church if you want, but learning this, I don't know how you could or why you would. But if that's what you choose to do, go for it.
You can tell he hasn't learned anything, and that's the point of what we're saying. It's divine and national. So for people that want to do processes or goals, and to me, they have to go hand in hand. But this is the spiritual aspect of it. It's the divine aspect of it. This is literally spiritual warfare. This is ancient since the beginning of time, before time never knew before man was not. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this becomes a part of who we are, not part and parcel, part and parcel. So like in this idea of the higher self and the lower self, as above, so below, like these are reasons how we have to be able to navigate. Everybody is not supposed to be on the starting five. I keep saying this. You're not a starter. You're not even on the bench. You're not even the water boy or the water girl.
Yeah, right.
You're not
right
even
now,
keeping
we're
score.
watching him on TV. He'll be on the NCAA. He's down on the end. He got on all his sweatsuit. He ain't taking off nothing.
No, you can buy a ticket.
Look how divine this is. Look how divine this is. I was just about to make a basketball analogy.
Cause I mean, I'm saying,
brother came on and said, "Yo, man, your jump shot is wet. How do I get a jump shot like that? You need to take 500 shots a day for an entire summer. 500 makes a day. Oh well, I got a life, man. I got a life. I gotta just tell me what to do. It's just like I just did tell you what to do. You need to
but the gym is your life. The shot is your life.
A day for an entire summer, which is 4 months.
That was a perfect one. That was a perfect one. I give you that.
Man. on the money, man.
That's a perfect one.
And he still wouldn't have got that. Even if you told him, he still wouldn't have got it.
Islam boys, happy holy day. If you have any closing remarks, we'll just make our rounds and be out of here. Understand more.
I want to say one thing before we go.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, man. We smacking them one by one, man. Every time they come on this panel and they think we just some pushover Moors, they got another thing coming, man. They got another thing coming.
Yep.
Yeah, Moors, let me go after mother, y'all. Y'all gonna let me go after
I'm
mother?
done. I just did my little
foundation. She's got to be the last.
The pimp named Slickback. My pimp named smacks across the.
Let me go.
No, my homie the clown. I'm gonna start walking around with a homie the clown sock, just smacking people across the head, or my Pootie Tang belt. Is it one of the three?
I swear on my kids, I used to do that shit.
So whether it's Pootie Tang Belt, my homie the clown, or my pimp named Slickback, I gotta start smacking you. Like that's what you want. And it's a spiritual slap. So it's gonna heal you. Like it'll hurt initially, but just like if you've been eating pig feet and bacon your whole life, you're gonna have parasites. You need a cleanse. That Moorish cleanse takes time. It takes a good 3 to 5 years. So it's not one you get 30 days, 12 months. It's 3 to 5 year process for you to cleanse. Like Mother Ross talks about the exorcism before the baptism. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to take many years for you to just get this, just like in anything. Like the Amalgamated Brother has a book about 10,000 hours being mastery level.
Word.
Like in your profession, in your ability to create something or your talent, how many hours have you put in? So it's not something where even it's going to be the same for everybody because our journeys are different. It's not going to look the same. So like that Bill Cartwright, those of you who know Bill Cartwright, you know what his jump shot looks like.
Yeah,
If that's not the
no, but
Steph Curry.
it went in though.
You can't duplicate that shit if you wanted to.
Man, come on.
So if it's not a Bill Cartwright, that's cool. But it's not a Steph Curry. So what I'm saying is it's still the same amount of hours, but it looks different. It hits different. So you can still be 10 toes down, but it's your jump shot is not going to look the same. That's why you can't be a starter. You can be you can raise money for us. You can sell cookies and shakes for us for the team, but you can't be on the team. And so for Moors for how that hits them, that's what we're talking about. And you can't be offended. He had a great career, took care of his family. That's generational wealth. But his shot was hey, got a ring or two. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't saying nothing else. I yield after that one.
I yield.
Listen, it's all about honor, man. It's real simple. Honor your bloodline. If you don't recognize you come from a woman, yo, you got issues. Just honor your bloodline. Be proud that you recognize you have a mother, man. Be proud of that. At least start there first. If you want change, he's gonna have to start with himself. That's what he's missing. He's jumping over himself. And he's jumping into 9 feathers in RZA.
Them made in China feathers ain't the same type of North American feathers, but I yield the floor.
He's saying there's no unity because he keep following trolls. He keep following sellout who's selling packages.
Yep. Sound like he got sold a package that went bad. He got sold some bad dope.
For 4 years, he's been following him.
I really want to see if he joins Canaanland more. The
Sheldon.
It's been put out. No, I'm just saying. I'm putting it out for the world to hear. He's at Canaanland. Let's see if he joins Canaanland Moore's temple.
I feel that exact same way. Got the same energy, Sheldon. Because you can't tell me knowing this and knowing this, you wouldn't be there if you could.
Shay, no, you're saying there's no unity. There's no place for him to go. And XYZ, join Canaanland Moore's temple.
You think he got a butt whooping now?
Hey, I'm gonna hit him with the bet he won't.
If he could put his pride aside,
I bet he won't.
He need to fix himself first.
I bet he won't too.
Islam to the mother, man, for chiming in, man. Every time a mother that came in, the last couple of weeks, they've been flawless. Keep doing it, mother.
Islam. Happy only day once again, Morris.
Islam, give thanks, Morris.
Islam.
Thanks,
Morris. Peace and love, Morris.
Peace and love. Islam.
Love you all.
Love you all. Peace and love.